that's so exciting, and it's so amazingly attractive.
Yeah, you're not laughing now, are you?
Oh Lord, what a while, what a time it's been. What's going on here? You know what? How long has it been? Decades, 7 years since I last streamed. Not from lack of desire, not from lack of motivation, not from lack of energy, but fuck me, I'm busy. And I'm busy. I'm happy to be busy. I'm happy to be busy with work. Because if I'm complaining about work, I'm not complaining about not working. And that would be awful. That'd be awful. You know, it's obviously very challenging when someone dies in your family, my mother, and it kind of overshadows the realities that go with that you sort of come to terms with moving forward. And, you know, having a look at the analytics the other day, everyone in my niche, right, their traffic has gone except for me and one other company who are below me in terms of traffic, which probably means revenue as well. There's a few other factors that go into that. But I then had a look outside my niche so that I have some kind of, you know, is this just a thing in my niche? And it's reflected pretty much everywhere. I mean, America, essentially, this is America. UK, not amazing, but ticking over nicely. But I don't think, unless you live in America, I doubt you actually see. I mean, as consumers of news, where we get, you know, even dissidents, you know, even people who dare to be critical, have an understanding of what's going on in America with the open border, with the Bidenomics that seem to be going well, with the whole energy consumption rather than production and surplus to retail. But I don't think, I mean, maybe I'm just being naive. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I should just speak for myself. But it really gives me an understanding of how bad things are going in the United States of America on a day-to-day level. You know, if you're not rich in America at the moment, I think it's really a really frightening time, because it's going crazy out there. And, you know, I've always said this. I would never want to be one of those people with billions, you know, or even multi-millions. It can cause you problems, you know. The amount of people who've won the pools. Do they still do the pools? He used to come around our house, that geezer. Hello, Janet. Just to sort out your pools form, where you bet on football draws and no scores. Yeah. And after the football on a Saturday afternoon on the news, on the whatever sports show, sport, World of Sport with Dickie Davis, of course, fantastic bouffant that, you know, there was something in the air. You can't grow hair like Dickie Davis anymore. No one can do that. That was a thing of the time. It was you know, historically over determined to be able to get yourself a Dickie Davis kind of hairstyle. Let me see if I can, for those who don't know who I'm talking about. But at the end of there he is, that little incest abuse smile. Oh, I've got loads of pictures up here, but hang on, I'll get you nice. Oh, no, I pressed the wrong one. Oh, damn, I might have ruined it for everyone. Here we go, a bit of Dickie Davis. So at the end of World of Sport, which is what he'd present, I mean, maybe you can hum we might have to play that theme tune before too many people get here. Here he is. Have a look at Dickie Davis. So at the end of his show, World of Sport, after the hour or so results, you can't get hair like that anymore. That it's just not a thing. I mean, maybe you could just buy like some kind of foam imitation, and I don't know. But at the end of that, it'd go, okay, and let's look at the pools. The pools, because it was a pool. You'd bet, but not. It was so well marketed because it wasn't like football fans. Who bets on football? Football fans. You know, it was everyone. Although weirdly, give me a 1 in the chat if what I'm about to say rings true to you. I haven't. Oh, let me just put the chat on so I can see you. In the 70s, tell me this. Am I right here? In the 70s, working class people, I'm talking about, OVs. Well, there's not much to say about middle class people, is there? It's like, working class people, every house, even if you weren't really into football, by which I mean, even if you didn't know the names of all your players, you might know like the striker, you know, well, that'd be it. But you'd know that you'd recognize the badge and the name. But every household had almost everyone supported a team. It wasn't like a proper support where you'd get a season ticket and go down there. But somewhere along the line, mum and dad would have been allocated a team and the kids would have been allocated a team. You know, sometimes the whole house would be one team. But that was certainly my experience, just so that they could sort of like play along come the weekend. You know, you'd laugh at someone. I remember bloke over the road supported Southampton, and so did my old man. And you know, I can't imagine the bloke over the road watched a lot of Southampton games, but that was his kind of allocated team, isn't it? And so the pools sort of played on that. You know, the pools, it was kind of like a proto quasi lottery. You know, you'll be surprised how many people. I wonder if those stats are up there. I wonder if we can find them. How many people used to play the game? The pools in. Should I say the football pools? Yeah, the football pools in the UK. I assume it was UK wide. Oh my gosh. Oh my freaking Lord. Don't Google it. I'm about to blow thine mind. Let's get back over here. Let's get to that. Let's do that. Let's do that. Can you see this? Right. You know, I said it was well marketed. It wasn't marketed like the it's you know, the lottery. Everyone was talking about the lottery for like about 2 years before it was even, you know, before you could even indulge. There you go, Nick. Yeah, spot the ball. That was it. That was on the back of the little pools leaflet, wasn't it? And spot the ball, people, was incredible. You had it was like a photograph of a glamour tie, like Leeds versus Notts Forest. And there'd be all the players sort of going like as if, and the goalie going, and you could pay. I think you either paid or the odds went down the more crosses you had. So you had to put the cross. You had to put the cross where you thought the ball was, and it was quite fascinating to a child because you'd look at it and think, well, it's obvious, you know, this guy it's been crossed in, and this fella's just bushed. And so you know, as like an 8-year-old, you wouldn't say, "Yeah, Dad, stick a fiver on here. It's right there." But then the next time it come around, you'd look at it, and it would just be there over there. It would be rolling down the road outside the stadium. I want a 1 in the chat from anyone, because I missed them all for 1 in the chat from anyone who knows anything about spot the ball or the pools, because that would be amazing. I can't believe that Andy Mack has said, life goes on, hoit one and all. He's got the grift going. And I'll tell you what, that is a good time for me to thank you, Andy. And yeah, I'll get Entropy set up now for anyone who wants to use Entropy. Entropy is the preferred method, but I know you super chats are easier. Hang on, I'll set up Entropy in a minute. So if you don't know, people, OG Scrub, like he's been around this place at least 5 years, which is a long time to be, you know, a regular anywhere. But especially this daft show that is, you know, has no specific content. But King Corona died. King Corona died. He used to email me occasionally. He hadn't mentioned anything to me. I don't know if he'd told any of you that he wasn't doing very well in that department. I don't know if it was sudden. I don't know if he was expecting it. But Casey, King Corona, bless you, man. Rest in peace. All that kind of stuff. If you are watching me now, you're probably having a laugh because you know how shit I am at this sort of thing. But you'll be missed, mate. You know, there's not a lot of scrubs, and we can't afford to lose them. And yeah, what a terrible shame. Okay, let me sort out this Entropy. We will have I'll just give a little bit of time to I've really got to have a word with the lads at Entropy. Why doesn't this ever work? Yeah, you've asked me that 5 times. Right, we are going to do a call in, but I'm going to just show you something quite remarkable. I'm going to give this one more go. Wow. Why? Maybe I have to press start streaming. There you go. Grab that link there. Not knowing how to do it. Not knowing how to stream. Go live. Okay, Entropy live app, Dangerfield. It would appear it's live. So I should be able to go to YouTube. Put that over on there. Put that in the chat. And like last time, not be allowed for some reason to oh yeah, I can. Oh, it's all working nicely. Pin message. Right, that's that done. Housekeeping. Poor old King Corona. What a shame. It's hard to know what to do, isn't it? It's hard to know when someone's died. Let's say some hellos because it's the OGs in and it's been a while, so let's get some hellos in. I don't need to know about how much tax I've got to pay. Thank you very much at the moment. Cheers for the message. Here we go. We've got JP on the firm. Hello, mate. Hans is here. Hello, Hans. Chasworth is here. Well, he certainly was. Charlie Sparkles. We had a bit of a laugh, didn't we, Charlie? I'm going to show that video in a minute as well, actually. Hello, October. Brad's back on the firm. Nice to see you, mate. Tricky Woo. Hello, John. Been a while, son. It's been a while for everyone, but hello, mate. Nice to see you. Who else? Oh, hey, no. Big JC. JC, no, it ain't. Jack Clundon. It is from now on. I'm calling you JC. I confused you with my other man, JC. Hey, he hasn't spoken to me. I sent him a couple of messages. Interesting bloke, man. I'd like to get him on for a stream, actually. He's doing very well in business, does very well in investing, comes up with some good ideas. I'll tell you what. Sorry, Jack, to bring you up and talk about someone else. Get your name wrong and then talk about them. But what I admire about JC, he doesn't really come in the chat. He donates, so he drops napalm like boom, big money. But he enjoys his life. He sort of makes a living and spends it. you know, and invests it. He's he's doing what you should do to get on with life. And I get a lot of people writing to me with really, really bad things happening. And I understand that, you know, you can't have it right, but it's also nice to have that little bit of balance occasionally. That is not necessarily an invite for you to email me telling me you're doing well, but I'll take it if you want to. But me and Charlie had a laugh. I'll tell you a little bit more about that a bit later, before the chat comes in. Hello, Cooper. Cooper wonder where I've been. Well, JP reckons it's been a million years. Years were, I'll accept, but not years. There you go. There you go. Lovely to see the piss being taken among the scrubs. Emma G. Don't forget to remind me, Emma, it's a call in. It's already 17 minutes. It's been a terrible amount of time, really. Oi! Dangerfield. What, have I done it wrong? Have I spelt it wrong somewhere? Where have I spelt that wrong? Because someone else said that, but, you know, here we go. I suppose that's just the way it goes. I've messaged you loads of times, and I haven't heard from you since a month ago, and that was of concern. So unless you're a snide account, it's nice to see you. Doc Shelley is just putting the H right there. Hello, mate. Good to see you. Hello, Matt, over there in Canada. Hope you're well, son. Otto's in. It really is. I've said it before. I mean, Trump isn't going to save America, but he's their best bet. Really, it's a mess. I'm not buying this. I'm not buying this that the Chinese yuan is going to become the global currency. That's not going to happen. The Americans have actually been, well, I say the Americans, the private company, the Federal Reserve, have done all that's really required to embed the dollar into the global movement of the economy. I don't think, I've seen a lot of sort of scare stories about that. Not my specialist area, but I've done a bit of due diligence to see about that, and most people are sort of saying it's just fear-mongering propaganda, something they can blame on Trump. a pocket chips, a pocket hips. I watched my favourite movie. I've been re-watching The Final Cut because I hates a bit strong. Apocalypse Now, one of my favourite movies, if not my favourite movie. And then I didn't like the Redux because I just, the French plantation bit, French rubber plantation bit, I didn't buy it. I just thought this is a real drag in the middle of an otherwise near perfect story arc. But The Final Cut, or whatever it's called, the final grift, in The Final Grift, it's actually edited in such a way. It's quite a cool bit, actually, when Willard, they're all at the table, and there's a really interesting political moment where, you've got the Vietnamese War going on. You've got the communists from the north under Ho Chi Minh. You've got the NVA, the North Vietnamese Army. You've got the Americans. But it's almost like not only the first televised war, but also the first televised war, where people didn't know who was who. You can walk into a town in the south. It was a north-south Reds under the bed kind of deal, the Vietnam War. Yeah, it's a bit more complicated than that. But essentially, you could walk into a town in the south, the people that you're protecting, you're protecting the south from communist invasion coming down from the north. And yet, as you leave that village, they could just kill you because they're actually commies. I mean, how do you even fight a war like that? How do you fight that war? You lose and leave again, America. But that plantation bit, there's a bit where he says to him, what you got this. If you haven't seen it, people, there's a French family and they're living out. It's virtually like on the border of Vietnam and Cambodia. I suppose it's going to be what? Fuck knows, actually. I don't know when it'll be. Where's Apocalypse Now set? 1972 or something? I don't know. When is Apocalypse Now set? See how wrong I got this. 1969, that weren't bad, a couple of years off. So right in the hub of the war, and don't forget where that area is meant to be, where you've got them, the French people. They're living on a rubber plantation which they own and has been in their family for generations since the French invaded Vietnam and Cambodia. There's still French beauty. It's got to be said, beautiful French architecture in Cambodia that the Cambodians also love. You turn around a corner and there's just this gorgeous Trez European sort of post office and sort of hotels, and you're like, wow, I didn't expect that here. You've got the Khmer Rouge would have still been active then, the MVA, and of course the Americans and Ho Chi Minh's people, the communists. And Willard says to him, so, when you're leaving, there's a family of about 10 of them there, all sitting around a table, drinking French wine and eating their fine French food. And there's a bloke with an accordion. Willard says, when we're leaving, he's like, no! This is what you don't understand. You're American. You don't understand. You are here because you are paid to be here. Enjoy my acting. You see, you wondered, who's that? I slipped into character so seamlessly then. You thought that Apocalypse Now had just appeared on your screen. Apocalypse Wow, perhaps. And he says, we ain't leaving. And he says, because this is ours. It's really interesting. Francis Ford Coppola didn't just put that in. Didn't just say anything. He says it's ours. It's interesting, isn't it? Is it theirs? Is it not theirs? Is it the Vietnamese people's? The French people built a working plantation, would have no doubt employed loads of Vietnamese people. I know it's fictionalized, but without a doubt these kinds of things happened. There are times at war where foreign companies have to do the off, without a doubt, and they're just sitting it out. They just reckon, and it's weird. It's almost like haunting that they're just there. And even when Willard and the crew pull up to the French plantation, there's all this sort of mist, and as it sort of slowly breaks up, they're all standing there with their sort of guns, and it's like, any sustained actual military attack would have them all dead in, half hour or something. And then she takes him up to his bed, and, they might as well be in Paris somewhere, but in, proper Paris, like it used to be. Yeah, we'll get on to Sam Melia in a minute. That's my like it used to be joke. And he's in this like 4-poster bed, and she's naked. Willard is a special forces assassin. That opening scene where he goes nuts and smashes his hand open, there's blood everywhere, and the end is playing by the doors. One of the most incredible opening scenes of any cinema ever. You're just like, what is happening? Amazing. Listen, people, if you haven't seen Apocalypse Now, the original cinema release, just find the time to watch it. Even if you're not interested in war, it's not a war film really. It's like all films, it's about people. But it's just, the scripting, the cinematography, the acting, they all just nailed it. And that triad, that four-sided triad, are we there yet? Yeah, I could talk about that for years. But then she gets out the opium pipe, and like this, Willard is just brutalized. You know, he's got no sense of humanity, got no sense of compassion. He's a trained killer. And there's a lovely line at the beginning which I've nicked for my novel, and I haven't stolen it like on the sly. It's just a rewriting of the introduction of Apocalypse Now. There's a bit where he says, what does he say? He says, when I was in the jungle, when I was at home, let me get the actual quote up since I'm talking about it. That's not his monologue. Well, here we go. Full transcript. We only want the first. Wow, they've got the lyrics to the Doors song. Here we go. So I'm not going to act this, but so you have the Doors playing. It's the end of the song. The end. Jim Morrison absolutely going for it. And you know, you got to remember before that, helicopters, and they're not helicopter sounds. That's the amazing thing about Coppola. They're not helicopter sounds, because helicopter sounds are quite boring. These are the sounds of fear. These are the sounds of confusion. It's like, and you actually don't hear the helicopters, and they're going over this beautiful jungle, and then it's just like this napalm, just the whole fucking screen just goes up in fire. It's incredible. And then down, the opening bars of This Is the End. Fucking beautiful filmmaking. And then, excuse my swearing, people, it's not good. I can do better than that. And then Willard's got his bottle of booze and he's doing like Tai Chi in front of a mirror, and then he punches the mirror. And that was all improvised. You know, he sits down, he's crying his eyes out. He's an alcoholic, he's fucked, he's killed too many people. He's been brutalized by war. And it's all, in terms of storytelling, in terms of writing, you know, if you want to nail a character, if you want to say to the audience, you want to say, this is who this is. It hasn't been done better ever in the history of cinema. So you've got all that bit, but you could take all that out. That's the visual bit. Here's some bombs and here's some helicopters, right? Okay, so it's war. Okay, so it's terrifying and children having their skin stripped off by essentially burning sugar. And then he sort of gets up, and there's a bit when he opens the Venetian blinds, doesn't he? I'll tell you what, that actually looks like the post office up in Phnom Penh. And this is what he says. He goes, Saigon. Did you like it? Was it seamless? Oh, stop it. He goes, I love this so much. Why do I love it? Why is it so good? Anyway, he goes, he doesn't say it, it's a voiceover. Like, it's like, you know, he's not mouthing the words. So he opens it and he goes, Saigon. I can't do that. He says, Saigon, shit. I'm still only in Saigon. Now this is the key. Every time I think I'm going to wake up back in the jungle, so every time he wakes up, he thinks he's going to be on a mission, right? When I was at home after my first tour, it was worse. I'd wake up and there'd be nothing. I hardly said a word to my wife until I said yes to a divorce. So much said there. That's not just he divorced his wife, but that year building, you know, the year, 6 months, whatever, building up to him coming home from being a special forces assassin, seeing, witnessing, doing, being party to, colluding with humans at their least efficient, you know, cutting throats, letting innocent people die because you've got to kill one of the people who happens to be among them. How do you survive that mentally? How do you come out of that the same person that went in? You don't. If you do, then there's really something wrong with you. And so that he hardly said a word to his wife. So there's that breakdown in communication, but hanging it on. We've all been there in relationships where you know it's over, but you know it's easier just to plod on. Yeah. Because you don't want that fucking 20-hour conversation, and you don't have to get your books. And then once the pressure is released, you think, oh, actually, we've had a lovely time. But finally, he said yes to a divorce. And this is the kicker. When I was here, and he's talking about on a mission, when I was here, I wanted to be there. And when I was there, all I could think of was getting back to the jungle. I've been here a week now, waiting for a mission. Getting softer. Every minute I stay in this room, I get weaker. And every minute Charlie squats in the bush, he gets stronger. Each time I look around, the walls move in a little tighter. Everyone gets what he wants. I wanted a mission, and for my sins, they gave me one. Brought it up to me like room service. Yeah, boy. Why are we talking about apocalypse now? In such detail as well. Something else I wanted to say. A couple more super chats are coming. That's lovely because I'm brassy. You're feeding me. Bullet. Pound. Hi, boss. Is all. Hi, all. Hi, Bullet. Good to see you. Alan. Hello, Alan. Hello, mate. Amazoid. I'll tell you what. I better get back to the chat because when Al drops a grift bomb, I don't know how long ago it was. I can't believe Otto said Dickie Davies had a Lego hair. It really is Lego hair. So to the apocalypse, apocalypse now play on words name in the chat. I thank you for. I tell you what, it's such a beautiful film. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Little Bullet, and thank you there, Andy Mack. And Entropy, I will refresh and check just in case Blogs is around or the couple of others. Dictator, sorry, Bricktator, are you here? Let me know if you're here somehow. Just say in the chat or whatever, because I want to show something, but I really should have got your go ahead. So the point being, after all that, at the end of the world of sport, Dickie Davies would say, and the pool's outlook is fair to good. That meaning that they reckon it's probably worth having a look at the results because they reckon not many people. It was a weird load of draws and no score draws. The pools. Right, this is what I was going to blow your mind with, though. So one in the chat, if you know about what I'm talking about the pools, please tell me. I want to know. Hello, Steve. Ian's in here. Where's Ian? Hello, VC. Hello, Eleanor. Apocal Chips now says, love him or hate him. Without Brando, the movie wouldn't have worked. I don't know about that. I mean, I reckon he's great in it because Coppola had to work round the, Coppola didn't expect Brando to turn up like that. But he does absolutely pull it off incredibly well. Hello, Squid Lord. James is angry about his government. You're not allowed to, I'm not allowed to talk about that on YouTube. I think they emailed me and said, I'm not allowed to blame anyone for anything, apparently. I'm serious. It's not a joke. I talked about it on a previous stream. The old classic. That's right. Brando tells a story, doesn't he? They come to a village. They inoculated all the children. And when they left, they cut all their arms off. The horror. The horror. There's Marzipan. Hello, Marzipan. If I haven't said hello to you yet, I will do. Hello, Packer. Packer, it's a calling. You up for it? Here, I'll put the invite in the chat just for Packer for the moment. If you ain't up for it, Packer, no problem. It's not an obligation, but it makes for a better stream, I've found. Nyanthos, here we go. Hello, mate. So loads of people knew about the pools. That's amazing. Hello, Lulu. Alan, you knew about the pools. Did you have them in America, or do you just know because I've just talked about? In theory, everyone should say one. Imagine Alan grew up in England. That'd be weird, wouldn't it? Some weird little turnout where he says, I lived in Stoke-on-Trent until I was 20. Hello, John. Hello, Rob. Winstoner. Right, so have a look at these numbers I just dug up. Like, absolutely terrifying. Packer.
Hello.
Just shut him up for a minute. Right, have a look at these numbers. You're muted, mate. All right, hang on. You love it. Have a look at these numbers, people. Blew my mind, they did. Mind was blown. Right, hopefully you'll be able to see it. I'll read it out, of course, anyway. So the pools, that weird thing where that bloke turned up round your drum and went, hello, Janet, are you going to do the no score draws this month? At its height, up to 14 million. Now, you're looking at its height, must have been, I'm thinking about 1980. So the population of the UK in 1980, I would guess, was about, 60 mil, 50 mil? I'll unmute Packer. He might have a bit more to say about that. Oh, I just muted you. Hang on. Let me do it. How many people do you reckon lived in the UK in 1980?
About 50 million.
Yeah, that's what I'd say, 50, 60. So look at that, 14 million people, by the way they played it. What you just said, Norwich versus Skegness was going to be 0-0. Is that a game? Does that count as play? I've got a short list for my manuscript, and play is one of them. There you go. Drop that in. That's nearly finished. That's also why I haven't been streaming. I do actually. You can't have everything, people. Where's that fucking novel? Where's it? If I don't run my business successfully, I can't go and live at my mother's house anymore. That's why I mentioned her. So I have to work and I have to write. Good Lord. No one had a go at me, did they? Look at that. In staking more than 50 mil, and to buy today's money, 50 mil is probably about 300 mil, probably more than that. Isn't it crazy? Did your family do the pools, Packer?
I think so.
Gypsies.
Nah.
Well, we didn't win. Did anyone here win? Emma wants to know what we're winning. Emma, have you changed your picture to something very sensual?
She has, yeah.
Really beautiful. Really not nice. You look beautiful, Emma G. Absolutely beautiful. John, like a poor man's Gavin Bobby. Bullet has said, check out Hacksaw Ridge. Yeah, I think I've seen it. It's not Apocalypse Now, though, is it? Apocalypse Now is a. I think I have seen it. Hang on, is it like a group of soldiers? Well, it's likely.
Narrows it down.
I think I have seen it, Bullet, but I'll have a little look later. Nice one. Right, how have you been, Packer?
I've been all right. We've just been karting with the boy.
How's he getting on?
Last week he didn't do so well this week. It was too crowded. But last week he got himself top of the leaderboard for the cadets.
Hang on, what do you mean for the cadet? What's all that?
For the small carts, for the kids' carts, because he's only 11.
Okay, so is it an actual, is it like the equivalent of a Sunday league thing? No.
It's just indoor karting we're going to at the minute because it's too bloody cold.
Is there a point at which he can start competing on like a regular sort of?
Yes, anytime he bleeding well likes, but he can't be bothered.
I sense a little bit of bitterness there, Pack.
Not bitter. How much was the cart and all this stuff? No bitterness at all.
A lot of money, wasn't it? Marzipan's already come in uninvited, like a Scottish person. Should we let him in?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, all right, there you go. And our first guest is Ian Marr, who was being
Shall we let him in? Shall we let him in?
See, look, Packer, talk to him because he's obviously got the ump with me. He was being really nice.
Hey, all right, Ian. I said you should come in.
Oh, good, Packer. Oh, good, Nick.
It's like a Specsavers ad, isn't it?
What's that?
It's like a Specsavers advert.
It also ain't a great. It also could be an advert for hair transplants as well.
The 3
stages. How have you been, Ian?
I've been very good, my friend.
You're looking well. You are looking
Thank
well.
you.
They are a nice pair of bins. They suit you. Have we seen them before? It's just so long, man. It's so long since I've
Has been a while, mate.
Huh?
It has been a while.
Yeah. What are you up to?
No, I'm just sitting on the couch with the dog.
No, I mean, watching YouTube? I mean, in general.
In general,
Sitting on the couch with the dog.
sitting on the couch with the dog.
Would you like a go-kart, Ian?
I used to, when I was a kid, my friends all had them, so I had plenty of shots of them in them and stuff, but fine now if I'm going round a track because of all the injuries and stuff, if it's left a lot of right-hand turns, it's just brutal on the arm. There's no power steering, so you're fighting all the time.
Good Lord, imagine knowing that. Well, the only thing I really know about them is they've got about 2 inches of clearance, haven't they? Because we had one at our school, and if you went off the track and onto the grass, which everyone did because they just put their foot down and didn't know how to drive it, it would tend to flip and chuck you out as soon as you hit the grass. So
bottom out.
Yeah, that's probably what I meant. Pack. So what? You reckon he's just too lazy?
Yeah, he's not competitive enough. He's not got a competitive streak in him.
Is he there now? Because I don't want to get you.
No, he's upstairs. Are you all right?
All right. When I say I don't want to get him in trouble, I mean I don't want to get you in trouble. So that's interesting. So what's that like as a parent? Because do you want to? And this is I'm not looking for the right answer because there isn't one. I'm looking for an answer.
It's mildly irritating because he's quick.
Do you try and change them to be like in this situation? Right, I don't think my son's competitive enough. Maybe he's just not competitive. So do you accept that, or do you think, right, I've got to explain to him why it's good to be competitive?
No, I've done all that. He's not. Yeah, it kind of backfired a bit. He just got upset. So there's no point in pushing him too hard. He won't have it. If I push him too hard, he's going to put him off it. And then
okay.
He'll either wise up in his own time or he won't.
But he's a good driver, you say?
Yeah, no, he's good. He's good and he's quick.
You know what, though? And I know this sounds a bit weak, but it is fucking cold in England. We all had nice bikes as kids. Like, well, not all of us. Some of us had Honda Sunnies and that, but motorbikes. But they didn't come out till spring, summer. You didn't go down the Thames in the winter. Fuck that, man. Zooming along.
The other week when he topped out the leaderboard, right? We saw online that one of the kids that went to the academy in Gainsborough, one of the kids there had topped the leaderboard, and he knows him. So we said, like, you can beat him, can't you? Well, I'll give it a go. Yada, yada. He went on. He had 4 sessions. He went on the first 2 sessions, and he was within 2/10 of the time. And then he come off the second session and said, "Can we go for McDonald's after?" And I said to him, "Well, you beat Zach's time, and we'll talk about it." So 3rd session, he goes out there, beats it by 0.8 of a second. He went a
All right.
second faster because there was a McDonald's in it for him.
Well, there's your answer, isn't it?
That's how not competitive he is.
No, that's how competitive he is.
That's how competitive he could be when he puts his mind to it.
Yeah, but you
You need
know,
to give him an incentive.
there you go. I mean, I'm competitive in business, but it's the hardest time to be competitive in business is when it's not going well. You know, when you feel like it's all going to shit, that's when it's hard to do the work. But when you know that doing the work is paying off, when you know that, you know, the hardest time to climb a slippery rope. So I've got to end this metaphor I've just invented. The hardest time to climb a slippery rope is when there's nothing at the top of it. There you go. Barkley Walsh. Oh God, he's brought some weirdo in. Barkley's new missus or something. He tried to con me. He blanked his screen. Look, he knows it. Look, this is me well awkward. Who's this? Oh no, man, we're gonna get some autistic. Here we go.
Hello.
Why have you been blanking me, Washington?
Well, I could ask you the same question, Chris, because you've been blanking me.
Because I don't like you.
Fair enough, mate.
We had this conversation, I think, last time I was on. I've got a new Telegram account. I'm not signed into my old one. I've been messaging you on it. And you're like, oh, yeah, I think there's someone impersonating you. I was like, no, it's definitely me. And then you just seem to have, like, you acknowledged it probably, like, in some passive subconscious part of your mind. And then just never replied to, like, the 50 messages I've sent you.
From dot bon canyon plek lang na. Who's that then? Who is it? Is that Harry in disguise?
I don't know who Harry is. This is my good friend. What are we calling you?
You can call me Billy. You've called me Billy on streams before.
Hello, Bill.
This
So
is my
you've
friend.
got a lovely head of hair there, an absolutely fine head of hair. Very nicely styled, looking good, looking after yourself. I like it. So, Barkley, before we carry on, when you said you don't know, well, call him Barry, am I likely to get you in trouble carrying on that line of questioning? And when I say trouble, do I mean
this?
Yes.
what the fuck are you doing?
Sorry, this degenerate was trying to steal my backy, but I poured milk in it, so that's why. Sorry, yeah.
Is it liable? Do you not communicate with or about Barry because of legal issues?
I haven't heard with him for ages, literally
Right,
ages.
so it's just a friendship thing.
No
Can
association.
you not tell me? You can't
No
tell
comment.
me. So
No
this
comment.
is so weird.
No comment.
No comment though, Ian and Packer though. To me,
Chris,
no comment.
Chris, you know the situation. We can talk about after stream, but
Okay, no, that's what I'm asking. If you just say stop, and that's what I said. Okay,
ceasefire.
okay. No, it's not. They're not bullets. I literally was just asking. So weird. All sorts of weird shit's going on. I won't talk about that other lark then until you're off the screen. So how are you?
Oh, what about Sam?
You're not meant to say that. Oh, well,
No, I'm good. Me and my good friend Billy here, who you guys may have seen me and him standing next to each other in Hope Not Hate's latest report. So yeah, this is my brother, this is my brethren. Fun fact: when my mum kicks me out of the house after the PA documentary, it was him I was living with. So there you go, my saviour. He's also a scrub as well.
that's what Hope Not Hate said about you.
Just mentioned that me and him were supposedly Eastern activists, but I'm not one, nor is he.
Yeah, they
Lazy
decided to actually dox me in the 1 year where I hadn't done anything at all, nothing of note, and that's the year they decided to put me front and center of the Eastern section of the report.
Oh, they're nuts, aren't they, man? I mean, I'm a bare-chested YouTuber operating from my base in Cambodia. Base? What's your base, Packer?
My base.
Yeah, exactly. That's enough.
A semi-detached council house.
Yeah. Why couldn't they have said home with his Cambodian fiance? Doesn't serve their ridiculous purposes so much. Anyone see the Argentinian president at the World Economic Forum?
What's he done?
It's amazing. At Davos, he comes on and he just goes, basically, he says, all this bullshit that you're pouring out, which is essentially socialism, leads to loads of pain, suffering, torture, hunger, and it's a terrible idea. And as an Argentinian, I know more than most that socialism is absolutely ridiculous. And I am not allied to any ideas that are politically driven in that direction. And then he says something, I can't remember what he says at the end of it. He doesn't say peace, but he says he allies himself with all enemies of socialism. It's quite wicked, man, because I don't think they expected that. I think they expected him to go, I'm the president of Argentina, we're skinned. Well, I'll say anything.
He's ruthless. He just doesn't care. No filter.
He's a very erratic character. He's a wild card.
But
Powerful, though.
What was he, an actor or something? A TV presenter or something?
Was he a comedian? No, I'm thinking of Zelensky. What was he?
I feel how bad that no one knows.
We don't know.
I think he was a news presenter.
To be fair, as long as they don't try and take the Falklands again, I normally keep my eyes off Argentina.
Very true.
Fuck off! You were a sperm in your old man's bowel sack when the Falklands. I was buying the magazines. Here we go. Right. Here we go. It's in Spanish or something. Well, Argentinian perhaps.
Rollo says he's a professor of economics.
He is that, but he done something else. Pags, you must know. What did he do? Hello, sophist. Hello, Rollo. He was a professor. I'm sure he was. John says all politicians are actors and clowns. Otto thinks
says John Enoch Powell.
Hello, Adam87. I don't recognise the name, but lovely to see you. National pride, yeah. I don't know what made me laugh about that, but there you go. Oh, yeah, interesting bloke, though. Interesting bloke. John Palmer said, Floella Benjamin, you was my childhood crush. What? Oh, we've got... Oh, she's here, is she, with her polo earrings? Yeah. What's ironic? Oh, you're obviously... No way, Adam87's on the firm for the first time with his Burning A avatar. Well, it's lovely to have you. You know, get out. Say hello to Adam, people. That'd be nice.
Oh, Adam.
There you go. A nice one, Ian.
Hello, Adam.
Barclay, what's your favourite war film out of the one you've ever seen?
I'm very sleep deprived, so I have to think of what war films actually I've seen. Who war films have we seen? Do you know?
What we? I don't think we've ever sat down and watched a war movie together.
Hang on. Are you attached? Is this your new boyfriend? Are you Siamese twins?
Stop it! Don't tell him. I told you I'm secret. No, I don't think I've watched any war films.
Bill, what are you doing? Who are you and why are you here?
I'm his carer.
He's my handler.
Yeah, I look after him.
Not well enough by the look of things. Get that Barnet sorted out for a start.
I'm not getting it cut.
There's a waitress in your bar.
When I met you,
You know it as well.
me and him, we've been jamming today. I've like
Yeah,
reorganised
but I
my whole
want him
house.
to tell me.
Go on, you.
So hang on a minute, Bill. Barclay, you've never mentioned Bill before.
He has.
I definitely would have.
And it's we and we this and me and William that and good Lord.
You see this, Billy? He is my
Nicholas
closest friend in the
Billy.
whole wide world. Too close, actually. We're too close of friends. It's weird. It's like we've got this metastasis within our minds where we both have this exact level.
You know, the problem with young people, it's a mystery, isn't it? Absolute mystery. Ian, what are you making?
I'd have done the same there.
Yeah. No, he knows it's coming at some point. Metastasis. Right, let's see if they can do any better. Bill, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I met Kai through the organisation that will not be named. Oh, yeah. Well, he's been doxxed anyway. That cat's well and truly out the bag.
Yes, I'm not bothered. I use Kanye all the time anyway. It's fine.
Yeah. So yeah, I met Barkley through the organisation that will not be named. I originally thought, as many rightly did, that he was a bit of an arrogant twat, but he's made leaps and bounds. You know, lots and lots of patience. So yeah, he came and lived with me after the whole documentary shtick. We've sort of been busy mates ever since.
That's very kind of you to do that. So you're a dissident, are you?
Yeah.
What do you think the future of England really is over the next 10, 15 years? How old are you, roughly?
I'm in my early 20s.
Okay. Do you work?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. For someone else?
Yeah, for someone else. I'm a factory worker.
Understandable at your age. All part of the process. Good for you.
Although me and him did go into business once upon a time.
Oh, let's not even talk about that.
We won't talk. That's a whole saga. It's a whole saga.
Yeah, okay. We'll save that for another saga. So, go on. What's your outlook?
My outlook?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Bill. This is the needle of England. Now, that is positive, right? And that is negative. All right, you tell me. Right, we're going to start in the middle. You tell me what way to go.
All right. Well, we're going to shift over to the bad side. That's in the short term, I think. I think in the short term, things are going to get exponentially worse.
About here, it's going to get...
Well, we'll get a little bit worse. We'll get a little bit worse.
Okay.
Then
so how long is that? How many years is that?
5, 10. Beyond the 10 mark, I think you're going to see things get better.
How better?
Significantly. I think the youngest generations are more awake than any generation that's come before them. I think you definitely see this trend where people think that young people are very, very liberal, and that has been true. But I don't think that's going to persist to be true. I think the younger generations are more conservative than any generation before them. They're more religious. Okay. They're more traditional.
Really?
And what I find strange is amongst people my age, I find that a lot of them come to the conclusions that I did through the internet. They learned it from someone else. They sort of went along with the memes or something, you know, and then all of a sudden it sort of spirals out of control and then you're a dissident. But I find that a lot more younger people, like my sibling, for example, they're about 14, right? They came out with all that completely and utterly organically. I made a conscious effort to not push my opinions on them just so I thought they'd get in trouble at school. But no, came out of it entirely organically. Lots of their peers come out of it entirely organically.
Would that be because of school? Like school started telling them things and they were like, yeah, no.
I think so, because I mean, even when I was in school, the gay agenda was well in swing. We had we'd have days off, like guidance days. They'd get like NGOs to come in and talk to us about stuff. You'd get like it was normally like businesses would come and talk to you about employability skills, and then you'd come and there's also like a gay rights charity and they want to talk to you about being trans. So that kind of stuff was going on when I was in school. And then
hang on. What state education?
State education, state funded. This is a normal school. This is not any kind of independent school or anything like that.
I mean, I tend to agree with that. I think that all this utopian idealism is, I just think I want it just to keep going. Have more money, go into more schools, go into more universities, because it has become so patently ridiculous that only the the exceptionally stupid can go along with it now. If you're talking, I think you can sell communism to intelligent people. I think you can at a certain age,
mm-hmm.
But you're going to struggle to tell people that anyone can identify as either sex. And I'm saying sex because gender's just a little slippery.
They just win them over on pressure and emotion. Just emotion has to back everything now. No logic at all.
I think as well with the youngest. Right. I think with older people, when it came to the original gay rights argument, right, people came out with the slippery slope. It was like, oh, well, if you do this, then it will be this. And people slowly started to accept that that wasn't true, even though it blatantly was. But with the younger people, they're at the bottom of the slope. They saw that the slippery slope argument was true. They can actually see that, okay, well, our parents did tolerate gays. Now they want to cut our dicks off. Now they're coming into the schools. Now all of my friends are coming out with this stuff. That they sort of get to see it in hindsight, in real time. Whereas
Bill, do you think we should not tolerate gays?
Tolerate as in, like, I think that, you know, if two consenting adults want to get up to homosexual behavior in the privacy of their own home, I don't see any benefit to us, you know, kicking in the door and, you know, interfering with their private lives. No. Do I think we should have a culture that openly celebrates homosexuality? No, not at all. Not whatsoever.
As well, all of it's the political narratives are tied to the whole LGBT agenda.
Cheers. It's interesting. So what do you are you an activist, Bill? Or, I mean, you can't really in the UK now, can you?
So I was with the old org. I done quite a bit of stuff. I done the leafleting, the banner drops, and what
Be
have you.
careful what you say, though. But yeah, yes, we'll do. Yeah.
So not so much anymore. I'll be honest.
Because it's dangerous. Is it because it's dangerous?
Because it's dangerous, and also because I got older, I've got less free time. You know, I don't have the ability to just drop everything and go to the other side of the country to do this.
Bill, I'm not digging you out for this, but what you've just said is actually really important because you've got to work, I imagine. You've got bills to pay. You've got that age where, for whatever reasons, you might have got shunted out your parents' house. You might not have parents, whatever. A lot of people in their early 20s have got jobs. And it sounds almost laughable when you hear someone say, well, I'm not an activist to try and save the future of my ethnic homeland anymore because I haven't got any time. I've got no free time. But at the same time, yeah, that is a reality. You know,
I will say, actually, I'm going to push back on that. A lot of it is because our sort of local political region just isn't very active with nationalism. But back in the old org days, it was a lot more active. So even if it just be like one weekend, a month or something, we could go on a hike. But
we had a lot more people to coordinate with.
But if you take like in the homeland part, like the West Midlands, Scotland region, they're all like massive, and they're just still banging it out all the time, always doing leaflet and always activism.
All that Berkeley at the moment, really.
I just said a statement of fact.
I know, but you know as well. The way the culture industry works is, they're onto this kind of. I'm making a video at the moment about audio books, and there's a lot of reasons why I don't like audio books. Now, there's a few reasons why they're quite good. If you're blind, they're quite good. A lot of books aren't available in Braille, okay, but that's a very small percentage of the population. But there's also a difference between the act of reading and the act of listening. But the biggest problem I have with them is people tend to like audiobooks because they can do something else while they're listening to them. And that's quite a canny move from the culture industry there, because literature was originally from the writer and the reader about solitude. Like, I can't write if my missus is in. I need 3 or 4 days on my own before I even get to sit and write, because I just need that solitude. And to read was about being on your own, quiet room, maybe some music, but even then, not lyric music, because it's just too many words. And that time alone, it has always been important. And I would say especially for males as well. And the growth of the audiobook industry, and it's fucking huge, by the way, I know the numbers, it's because people can put it on and then they can go and wash up. They can put it on and they can play a computer game. Well, oh yeah, no. And then you talk to someone and you say, "Oh, have you read so and so?" They go, "Yeah, yeah." "Oh, wow, have you read so and so?" "Yeah, I've read that. Yeah, I've read this. You're really well read." And they go, "Well, they're audio books." And I'm sorry, I just think, I don't know if that counts, because you're doing two things at once, and that
you don't retain as much and process as much of the information, obviously, but it also depends what you're doing. Like if you're doing something that's like high focus, like gaming, while listening to an audiobook, you're not going to pick up anything. Like, I mean, that's how I've learned most things in life, is I've been gaming while
listening. If you're washing up, you're not, because you
can do that on autopilot while listening, I think.
Yeah, but the thing is, I find
there's ratios to it.
I think reading is a much more active process. In order to actually read, really digest the subject matter, to get the subtleties in sentence structure and metaphors and what have you, you can't be doing anything else. It has to be an active process. That's why I like to take notes when I read.
You've absolutely nailed it, because actual reading is writing. You're filling in gaps, because a writer can't put everything in. You can't put everything in. There's a book by Jorge Luis Borges, the Argentinian, second Argentinian to be mentioned on the stream, and he wrote a book about a bloke who wanted to write everything down he'd ever done. But he realised he got to the point where he's now writing down what he's doing now, but then he had to write down that as well. And so he gets caught up in this loop where he realises it can't be done. And so as a writer, you can't write everything. A book is a few crumbs, and you have to make the biscuit out of it. If you're doing anything else apart from breathing, I think you're missing out on what a writer has spent a lot of time and effort, a lifetime really, regardless of the actual time it took to type it, but a lifetime of developing a skill. You're sacrificing so much of that by just having it in your ears.
The issue I find though is
people go to sleep. They listen to an audio book, and then the next day, what chapter did I fall asleep on? Oh, fuck it, I'll just
Did David Foster Wallace not do a discussion on the art of reading a book and how it was a solitary experience, and you got to be a bit of a spare to do it and all that sort of thing?
What, to read or to write?
Both.
I haven't heard it. I'm just having a look now, because obviously that would be right up my street.
That's where I thought you got it from, Chris.
No.
He does allude to that the act of sitting down and reading a book in quiet is just alien to a lot of people. A lot of people can't do it.
Yeah, okay. Social Isolation in Good People by David Foster Wallace. Oh, that's actually
There you go.
All right, I'll check it out. Great call. I'll leave that page open.
Sound, mate.
Yeah, excellent.
The struggle I have with reading those, because my mind is very active. I've got like 3 thought tracks speaking at one point pretty much. So when I'm trying to read, I'm reading the words, but I'm also thinking about what happened in the shop today when I spoke to the lady at the till, and I'm also thinking about practicing piano and going to the gym, and all this is mounting on at once. It's really hard for me to process the words. I have to keep rereading it over and over again. My processing speed is quick. It's just hard to... Okay.
So are you saying you can't read?
No, I've always had a reading comprehension far above my GPA.
No, you haven't.
I do. No. I do.
Can you? What, you can't read then?
I think it's...
Read better books.
It's a case of attention span. I think it's a case of how overactive my mind is.
Switch off, mate.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's like, well, when I'm on a train, I will just sit there and just read the entire time. Like, without fail, I'll smash like half a book in one go. But that's because I've got nothing else to do. I've got nothing else to distract me. If it's something that I find really interesting, like Music Theory for Dummies, probably the best book ever written, to be honest. Like, fuck the Odyssey. That's it. Like, I just started reading that book. I think I read about 180 pages in one go.
Hang on, though.
Never had the patience for anything else.
Barclay, what are you drinking?
Monster.
I wonder why you have trouble staying off.
You know what I mean? What, you drinking a stimulant?
I quit caffeine for about 9 days.
What, for another stimulant?
Fuck's sake, that's a lifetime.
I had nothing other than cigarette stimulants wise.
Hang on. But you you just said to me you can't read because you've got 3 levels of some bullshit going on, but then you said you can read.
So my theory is right. It's
I think Ian's point was the best one.
yeah, I think it goes in levels of mindfulness. I think it depends how like overstimulated your brain has been within a recent time. If you go from watching like say YouTube shorts, for example, where like your brain's been really overstimulated, it's been forced to be underactive, you struggle to read after that. But I found if I try and read like first thing in the morning, like I'll just sit there and read, an hour will go by and I didn't even realize. But I just never sit down and read.
You struggle to find the zone. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I struggle to find the
zone. You can't switch off and switch in.
Unless if I find the book exceptionally interesting.
Listen. I want you to think about what you say more.
No, I know what I mean.
Oh, yeah, but I don't. And that's why I'm telling you to think a bit more about it.
I'll give you an example, right?
No, let me give you an example. Because you said I can't read. Then you said I can.
I said then, it's hard to process.
No. When you say I can't read, English, 3 levels of things going on, that's essentially saying I can't read. And then you said you can. Then you said that you can't. I just can't find the right time to read. And then you told me that you have found the right time to read first thing in the morning.
The point I was trying to make with like the reading thing. So a very overactive mind. It's hard to read while you're also thinking about something else. Like I'm thinking while reading, when I shit, I ain't even reading the words properly. And then I'll try and think about the words, which you're not supposed to do for reading speed, but it's whatever. And then I find start thinking about something else halfway down the page, or I go back. But unless I'm very interested in it, I get.
But that's what Ian's point is. So you're not the text isn't holding your attention.
Well, the example I was just about to mention is that this is supposedly a ADHD thing, but I know you don't believe in that. But
let them.
But with me, through my own example, and if we like to follow the model that is real, I've found that the only subjects most subjects in school, I either did shit or exceptionally well in. English, I got an A* and an A, and then physics, I got a 4. Like it's proper like leaps and bounds, but it was always the subjects I actually was interested in. I just completely smashed.
But that's everyone, isn't it? That's everyone. That's what everyone does. They do get better grades in things they like doing.
Oh yeah, but also I know I've always noticed we had it like.
That's got a name now, Chris. It's called ADHD.
Exactly.
Fucking joke.
And that's why I'm not buying it. This sort of need to be diagnosed.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm not buying it. You need to concentrate. Maybe don't drink stimulants. And if you're not being able to concentrate on the words, just because you're not interested. You said that you read music theory, no problem. So where's the ADHD with the music theory? It sounds like you said it's the best book ever written or something.
But sorry, to go expand the point a little more. I can't force myself.
This is Parker.
I'm not interested in. It's that I can't force myself to. I wouldn't be able to force myself to focus in physics, so I just didn't care like whatsoever. You know, it's just always been if I don't care, I can't like. Well, possibly I can trick myself into trying, but I just don't because I don't care. And things I do care about, I'll try hard in, even if it's just for the sake of it.
So to summarise, what has your point been about reading?
That I struggle to read things that I'm not interested in because it literally doesn't catch me.
And is that because you've got ADHD?
It's what the doctors might say.
No, because everyone in this little box here is the same. You give me a book on thermodynamics, I couldn't give a shit. I'm not even going to open it.
If it's like forcing yourself to read, if that's what you're talking about, like most people who force themselves to read don't force themselves to read because it's like, this book is a slogfest, I'm going to torture myself anyway. It's because they see an implicit value in the reading and that gives them the motivation. That's probably why you're struggling, is because you can't see the implicit the implicit value in reading a book that you might not 100% be interested in, but you know wisdom lies within. So you probably should read it and you will benefit, but you just, I don't know, maybe you struggle to get that in your head. I don't know.
Whoa.
Bill, do you think this gesture Is a suitable contemporary dance response to wisdom lies within. Think of the words now.
Potentially. I'm not one for contemporary dance. I prefer folk.
And no one is. The only people who give a shit about contemporary dance are contemporary dancers. Packer,
Yes.
what's the last thing you read out of choice?
Well, we've been here
Yeah, but I
decades
didn't-
ago, and it was Spike Milligan's war memoirs.
Hitler, my part in his downfall. That's
Yeah,
right.
there's about 5 or 6 of them.
Marzipan, last book you read?
Will Self, Dr. Mufti, and other tales or something like that.
You actually read that one. Have you read any of his new three? The Phone, Shark, and Umbrella.
Not yet.
Phone's brilliant. I think I've talked about it before. You've got that whole thing of technology grows exponentially with any war. That's happened. You can just, for obvious reasons as well. And I don't think intentionally, but in Phone, where he's talking about the development of, smartphones, for lack of a better word, he actually gets to the point where the map and the territory are the same thing, which has got a long philosophical sort of canon. Baudrillard's been there. Jorge Luis Borges has been there. There's a Polish bloke who came up with it first. Lewis Carroll, unfortunately, went there. But it's always been confusing the map for the territory. But with the internet, and especially with the AI explosion, the map is the territory. And,
I was just going to say that. Yeah, the map is the territory.
Yeah. And that's a real epistemological kind of crisis in some respects.
So what about people creating imaginary or metaverses within the metaverse? It all gets a bit confusing then.
He was at Davos, wasn't he? Old Zuckerberg was at Davos. He was there.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was there because he's got his big underground. They're all building these underground shelters, aren't they?
Yep.
Would you build one, Ian, if you had the money?
Yeah.
No, me neither. If it's going to get that bad, do you really want to be sitting with your family and close friends, like a mile underground with like 4 months of baked beans stashed up, waiting for hordes of people to come in and rape and pillage you? Wow, nah, man. Soon as that bomb drops, I'm just going to go, bye.
Yeah. No, I want a front row seat at the vaporization. I'm just going to fucking sit and watch it.
What zone do you want to be in? You want to watch other people sort of have their skin blown off by hot winds?
No, mate. Grangemouth is only about 20 miles from me. I'm going to get a deck chair out, a flask of coffee, a big fat joint, sit with the dog and just...
No, I'm going to say this. That's your smack relapse. You can have that then. I won't judge you for that one. Come on.
I will say though, just because nuclear war was a brief hyper-focus of mine for a little while. It's not 4 months you got to wait. In the case of most detonations, it's only 48 hours, and you can go above the surface for a couple hours a day without risk of radiation poisoning and death.
No, it was the hordes of people who haven't got anything trying to get
that's what I suppose. Okay, fair enough.
They're running around with no external, with no dermis. Just fun. Dawn of the Dead sort of stuff.
When I was these guys' age, I used to be terrified about nuclear war and the Cold War and all of that sort of shit. Now I'm this age, like I said, I want a front row seat, as hot as possible. Just fucking vaporize me in a millisecond. I don't care.
Did you? What's that horrible post-apocalypse film they made on the BBC in the 80s?
Threads.
That one.
But there's hundreds of them. I'll tell you what, Bill. Ian, the reason Ian says that now he wants a front row seat, because we're similar age and we lived through the Cold War, and it was just a media onslaught of imminent nuclear destruction from about 1977, through to about 85, pop music. Like, you know, I could probably name you 5 tunes that were about nuclear war. Films, TV shows. You've got the classic Protect and Survive that come through the letterboxes. Literally paint your doors white, lean them up against the wall, fill all the suitcases up with clothes, lean them against it. They were talking about nuclear weapons.
You know, it was
It
painting the
weren't
windows
all
white.
bad, though, Matt. I mean,
Chris,
Enola Gay by EOD is a
paint
really
on the
good song.
windows, they'll sort it.
That's
Fine.
it.
It's fine. Bit of whitewash.
Let's watch a bit of Protect and Survive. It never fails. Barkley, I think you started to say something. Carry on. I'll find Protect and Survive.
I think it was me. I said it weren't all bad. Enola Gay by EOD is a really good song.
Yeah. Do you know the first line?
Enola Gay should have stayed at home yesterday.
Yeah, man. And for people who don't know, Enola Gay was the name of the aeroplane that dropped. Was it Big Baby or Big Boy?
Fat Man.
Big Boy and what was the other one called?
Fat Man and Little Boy with the 2 bombs.
There you go. I think he wrote his mother's name. I think he wrote his mother's name on it, and then years later, obviously regretted it because, you know, that's not a very nice thing. But it's something that a lot of people, well, maybe it's up for debate, but it's what I've seen seems pretty secure. The firebombing of civilian Japan caused far more damage than the atomic bombing of Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
It
Dresden.
Tokyo did as well. Tokyo was like Dresden, but unlike Dresden. Dresden was mainly made out of like timber, hardwood, whereas Tokyo was built of like balsa wood and paper. That wasn't the first time Tokyo burned down and killed a lot of people as well. It did it previously on I think the 20s because of a typhoon, and that killed about like a couple 100,000 people as well. That's why after the war they decided to not build those paper houses anymore.
What a terrible.
There's still bombed out townhouses in Dresden in the Neustadt, where you'd be walking past and it'll be a beautiful townhouse with a tree growing out the fucking middle of it.
What, and they've left them there as sort of like monuments to what happened in Dresden. Wow.
Went to a concert in an old church that had been bombed out as well. That was pretty cool.
Wow. So when you were working, you hated Asia, but you enjoyed Germany. Went gigging in Germany. Where's all the brothels in Germany? Where's the famous place where there's loads of them?
Hamburg.
That's it. There you go. Did you go to
How did I know that?
I was about to say, did you get yourself down there? All right, we're going to have a little look at Protect and Survive. Look at this bit. This bit is now for people who don't know, this was a whole campaign, the Protect and Survive campaign. The full video is nearly an hour long, and it was accompanied by leaflets. So you'd be like 10 years old, I think I would have been, and you're already terrified because you're at school and the teacher's on the board. Dartford, being 13 miles out of the centre of London, will mainly be nuclear fire, which will strip your skin and bones from you in about 5 seconds. And just drawing all these circles. And I remember he was going, Johnny, where does your auntie Matilda live? And he'd go, Reading, sir. Go, right, so Reading will be in zone 2. So they'll survive the blast, survive the fire, but afterwards, just sitting there like, well, what's the education here? But you know what the education is? Be fucking scared of Russia, which has just, you know, we've still got it today. People are terrified of Russia today because that's been generationally passed down for absolutely no reason. Yeah, let's have a look at this.
Even in the culture as well. So Russians are probably like, well, especially now, they're like the safest villain you can choose. And if you look at the history of the Call of Duty franchise, which the stories always, it's literally like fucking military-industrial complex propaganda. You can look into it. It's like intelligence assets running Activision. Always have Russians as the enemy. Always, like without fail, doesn't matter which story, always it somehow has to do with Russians and Russian terrorists, and they kill civilians, and they're ultra-nationalists and stuff like that.
I know with movies, with cinema, if you're going to represent the American military, and certainly if you want to borrow things like uniforms and hardware, They want to have a look at that script. Apocalypse Now got turned down. They just said, fuck off. No. Francis Ford Coppola borrowed his Huey Cobra helicopters from the Philippine army, who were actually in a war at the time. There's some great stuff in Hearts of Darkness, which was Francis Ford Coppola's wife's documentary of Apocalypse Now, where Francis Ford Coppola spends all day setting up this set. And I mean all day. They start setting up at 5 a.m. You know, it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon and they're ready to go. And the Philippine military just turn up and they're like, no, we need our helicopters. We've got some bombing to do.
Oh, except the communist insurgency going on at the same time, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. But they also needed France's money. So it was a bit of a weird payoff. Yeah, you can borrow them, but when we need them, we're going to come and get them. Have a look at this. I might get yeeted, but it's 1 minute and 25. This is an actual. I haven't seen this. I've obviously seen Protect and Survive all through, but someone's clipped a section called Casualties. Let's have a look. And this is a sort of nuclear paranoia we were getting in the early 80s on a daily basis. Can't I ever sort this out? Right, you should be able to hear it. Bosh. Here we go. Hang on. Let's get all our ugly mugs. Let me know you can hear it in the chat. Hello, Pizzle. Here we go.
Yeah, we can hear that.
After an attack is over and the all clear has been sounded, arrangements will be made as soon as possible to treat any people who are ill or injured. Listen to your radio. Details will be given about what to do, when to do it, and how. If anyone dies while you are kept in your fallout room, move the body to another room in the house. Label the body with name and address and cover it as tightly as possible in polythene, paper, sheets, or blankets.
Sellotape.
Tie a second card to the covering. The radio will advise you what to do about taking the body away for burial.
The fucking radio. It's amazing.
If, however, you have had a body in the house for more than 5 days, and if it is safe to go outside, then you should bury the body for the time being in a trench or cover it with earth and mark the spot of the burial.
Fucking hell, man. And it was, I'll tell you what, it was endless, wasn't it? It just was. And then, tonight on BBC One, it's Threads. Me and my mates built a camp in the garden. And everyone at school was talking about Threads, and so we asked his mum if we could stay in it the night. So we nicked a load of sweets from the local corner shop and all that. Corner shop, and we had a couple of porn mags like that we found down by the river. We were going to have a right night in the tent, have a laugh and all that. Oh well, Fred, let's watch Threads. We thought it was going to be like a war film. Didn't even stay in there, couldn't. I went home. I was just like, no. I've got a lot of trauma now hardwired into my brain. Life's never going to be the same again.
Isn't the last scene of that film just like a horrifically mutilated radiation baby?
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's like not good.
That sounds more like the Tales of the Unexpected when the baby turns into a bee.
I love that show.
You can't go. It's just amazing. That's good. Keep going. Good. Keep going.
You didn't expect me to know that, did you, Chris?
I did. That's why I said carry on. Right, I'm going to see if young Bill is right and see if the last shot of Threads. I think he is.
Yeah, because he gets her pregnant and then doesn't he die? And then she gives birth to the baby like a couple months later or something.
Well, this
It's
is
a long time since I saw that film.
It's amazing that you know that, because I didn't even remember it having a story, because it was just so harrowing. The woman wets herself because of fear. They're all robbing the local Sainsbury's, and now you're telling me things like that. Let me see if I can find the full film. Oh man, we've done threads on this show so many times. Actually, I'm going to fuck that off. Right, Marzipan. Any final words for this section? I'm going to get some new guests in.
It's been wonderful to speak to you again, mate. It's good to come on here and be positive and not have any gripes or grumps, not swear like a trooper. It's been fun, mate.
Yeah, pleasure to see you, Ian. I'll talk to you again soon.
Packer, always nice to see you.
And you,
Bats and Bill. You're doing well, guys. Take care.
You too.
See you soon.
Cheers, Ian. There you go. You see that? It Barks and Bill. Barks and Bill. Barks first. Any final words?
Do we not get an extra renewal because we've got a second guest here? You know, guest one I've never seen before.
I don't know what an extra renewal is. Packer, what's an extra renewal?
Renewed a guest position.
He's just trying to get more screen time. He's a diva.
Oh no, I haven't spoke much today. I've been quiet. Someone's going to say that was the best part.
The clock's ticking.
Yeah, well, my last word, given that he's just fucking waffling, is A, the last book I read is Spring Snow by Yukio Mishima. You must have just forgotten to ask me. B,
say it again.
The last book I read was Spring Snow by Yukio Mishima. You must have just forgotten to ask.
Tell me a little bit about that book.
Absolutely beautiful. One of two books that made me cry at the end. It's part of a wider series that he wrote, but he's a really, really good author. Definitely recommend you check him out. Someone in the chat asked what my opinion on conscription is. I'll just keep that really small. One, I'm not dying for Israel. Two, my ideal society would see something like national service come back.
It's a channel, Packer. Barclay?
The last
hang
book
on, Barclay, before we get there. Bill, have you heard of David Foster Wallace?
The name sounds familiar.
Right.
David Foster Wallace.
If you're looking for a very long book recommended by me, it would be interesting. I'd like to know what you think of it. Infinite Jest. Go and check it out.
All right, I will do.
Infinite Jest. But don't go and check out the hype and the reviews. Go to it as just a novel. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
Because it will ruin it. So much has been said about it. I read it barely knowing who he was. I just went into Waterstones on Charing Cross Road and thought, well, that'll see me for a few months because it's massive. Yeah. Nice to have you on, Bill. It's been an absolute pleasure. Walsh?
So I think the last book I read is I've been listening to the audiobook of Ride the Tiger by Julia Savola. And other than that, it's been reading, I think it was $100 Million Leaves by Alex Hormozy. I was reading it with the audiobook on at the same time. I think I did it for 3 hours straight. that helps. It makes it a lot easier. And Thoughts on Conscription, short and sweet. I'm not dying for Israel. I'm not dying for a country that hates me. But in my ideal society, we'd have national service. So same as him, we've had this discussion probably a million times.
But isn't that conscription to an extent? If you
it is.
Yeah, but not for a retarded war that I don't care about whatsoever. No, I'd have a national service. We had to do litter pick. I'm going to start waffling.
No, I'd have a military national service.
It's bullshit. There's not a
civil and military.
There's not a chance in hell of British.
I think people completely refuse.
Recruited to fight a Russian land war. I mean, come on, it's just nonsense. It
was nonsense. Reason just get involved in World War II, but someone pulled it off.
I don't think they'd be able to pull off the conscription anyway. It just wouldn't happen. You would get mass desertions. Yeah.
I'd fucking mass desert to Russia.
Well,
lovely to have you on, youngsters. Barclay, don't swallow all that ADHD bullshit. It's just they're gonna make you.
I'm still debating live. I always keep in mind. I was like, well, this Chris guy knows a lot about psychology, and he says it's bollocks. But I'm exploring. I'm learning about it.
The psychiatry is a con, man. It's been a blag all the way. You know.
You sound like you have oppositional defiance disorder.
Thanks to LC350 for saying I look like Mr. Cray, by the way.
There you go. Look after yourself, Barkley. Look after yourself, Bill Barkley. I'll hit you up and I'll get some, you know, what we can't talk about publicly.
Just before you kick me off, I'll quickly send you my new Telegram in this.
Sure. All right. I don't really need to see it for you to do that, though. What did you make of all that then, Packer? Nice to see Ian. Let's get that out of the way first. Always
Ian
nice.
seems well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he did look well. What do you make of those youngsters, Packer?
I can't fathom them. I'm old, Chris.
I don't. It's hard. It's difficult, isn't it? Because they're nice lads, and you know. I don't.
Sat next to Barkley, but anybody would, wouldn't they?
Why is he on that fucking 2 litre of Monster? ADHD and I. It's like, really? Yeah, funny. You know, I do wish to cut young, especially that age group. Look what their teenage years have been. Bill's early 20s, we're guessing, 23, 22. If he's hanging around with Barkley, he's going to be about that age. Barkley's, 20 now? I mean, COVID, all that other stuff, you know. What kind of teen? My teens were fucking brilliant.
we had nuclear destruction and
but it was almost so, you know, my old man said to me about AIDS, he said, I've seen all this before, they've done all this with VD. He said, fuck it, you go out there and fuck as many women as you want. And I took his advice, and I haven't got the AIDS as far as I know. Have you got the AIDS?
No, I did have, but I don't want that again.
No, took it off like a dirty old jumper. There's a thing I find with young people that probably they lack humility. Now, that's not a judgment. I think that's something you learn.
Yeah.
I think young people, and, you know, people in the chat, if you've got kids, let us know.
Yeah, it's that old youth's wasted on the young, isn't it? And I wish I knew then what I know now.
There you go. But there's that. I mean, one of the things I really like saying is I don't know. Because then someone who knows more can tell me, and then I become wiser. But maybe it's because they're around significantly older. I mean, I'm twice the age of those. I'm their age put together, and maybe there's sort of like a sense of, you know, wanting to sort of know and wanting you to know that they know, and that's not a judgment. That's just part of being young, isn't it? And I was much like that, you know. I just wanted to get everything in that I could. No, I know, just like you.
I was an absolute knobhead. I was an absolute knobhead when I was their age.
Yeah, me too.
I wasn't anywhere near as sensible as them two.
I'm not going to go as far as say that. All right, let's see if any other people want to come in. Here, I'll put the link in the chat. I started early. Hello, Ethelstan. How are you, son? Yeah, man. No, I was. Look at Rollo. Hang on, where is it? I knew absolutely everything. Yeah, that's it. It's in the novel. I was 18 and knew everything. And looking back, less than nothing. There's nothing worse than thinking you know everything. That's the worst. I know you've all heard it, but that party, I was at an art school party on acid, a lot of acid as well, obviously. And I was arguing with this bloke about superconductors. And as everyone was watching this argument like across the room, it all went quiet. and as I was really, my head was just going, and I went, who are you to come here and, lay down the law about superconductors? And he went, head of doctoral research at Cambridge University in superconductors. He went, you? I went, second year art student on acid. Made my excuses and stayed. But yeah, man, I learned that night. Yeah. Anyway, I'll put the link in the chat. Anyone's welcome. There you go. Tricky Woo says there's so many innocent white children falling for the LBG. I don't think the LGBT thing is the bigger problem. I think there's always been gays. I haven't got a problem with gays. I have got a problem with sexuality being taught in schools of any kind, to be honest with you. I don't think it's necessary. I learned about sex and sexuality through sex and sexuality. I don't need a school teacher telling me how I should be and what I should do. In the good old days when you had fundamentals like communities and a group of kids that you grew up with, you just sort of learn, and you got told off, and you found out the hard way, or that sounds awful. I did find out the hard way, though, in fairness. But I just don't think education. I don't think education is required.
Do you remember the lesson, the actual lesson?
Yeah. Hang on a minute, Abstract Steve. Yeah, Felix Dennis, did you read it?
No, I've just started it.
Okay, you got the hardback version.
Yeah, we're only about £2 from eBay.
It's a great book, man. It's a great book. Changed my life, really, and easy to read. It's like a novel, really.
Yeah.
He's dead now, bless him.
I find it really enjoyable how he writes, because it speaks to you how me and you would probably talk to each other.
Yeah.
Down the book.
He done an interview in The Guardian, and it's quite kind of interesting. He's done a few over the years, but it's kind of interesting because he made an absolute fortune. One of the richest men in England, I think, by the time he was in his 60s. And they sort of said to him, you've made all this money, but you don't seem to have settled down. He said, no, I only make the money to spend on crack and prostitutes. The Guardian are like, anyway, what about that other thing you done that wasn't like that? Yeah, kind of interesting bloke. But I'm not going to tell you what it is, but they're right at the end, like it is a novel. Yeah. It isn't a novel, but there's a bit at the end where you'll just go, whoa. It's a real...
Well, I didn't buy it to get rich. I bought it because I thought, what an interesting guy that he's going to be and his story is going to tell.
You will enjoy it for sure. Manny Moo, it says your devices aren't connected. I don't know if it means in real life. Hang on a minute, Andy. What's going on there? Hello, mate. What are you sort of, you look like you're on Star Wars or something.
No.
Just
good old Glaswegian style, mate.
And you've got a Gustav Klimt in the background.
Yes, I do. The Kiss.
Is that now? I got a funny one. I had the girlfriend from the Crack Diaries, Gail. She was a brass, high class escort, $5,000 a night job, and she was seeing an Arab who had the original, apparently, for a time. And I said that we should somehow rob it, and she said,
"You can take the boy out of Dartford there." What?
There you go. Yeah, right. And then I thought, hang on a minute, that's got a nice poetry about it because we're going to steal a kiss. But it turned out it wasn't the kiss; it was some crappy little drawing he'd done in preparation for the final painting. So probably
we've all been there. We've all been there and done it. There's always some crappy drawing at the end of the tunnel.
Abstract Steve, you seem to have company.
Little Captain Kirk.
All right, Captain Kirk.
It's him who wanted to come on. Now shut up.
Is it really? I mean,
I'm not Captain Kirk.
You are a Captain Kirk.
I'm not Captain Kirk.
Wait, Captain Kirk, what do you make of Andy's get up there?
That guy.
What's that? What's the name of the bar?
Who does he remind you of?
Captain Kirk.
that doesn't count as a guess. What's the name of the bar in Star Wars? Oh, come on.
No, you got me.
Someone in the chat though.
That guy reminds me of Trevor.
Trevor?
Trevor from GTA 5.
GTA 5. Trevor. There you go.
Let's have a look at Trevor. Do you know who that is, Blacker?
Yeah, he don't look like Trevor.
Oh, I nearly had it then. The Mo.
Moss Isley. Moss Isley is the father of scum and villainy.
Moss Isley. Is that it? That sounds near it.
Well,
That's the town.
yeah, that's not the bar.
It's not the Star Bar. I love a Star Bar. I do love a Star Bar. The Mos Eisley Cantina. There you go. We put them all together and we got it. Trevor. Hang on. I've got Trevor Phillips from GTA 5.
Huh?
Absolutely. Captain Kirk, you've... hello, Bill. You've lost there, mate. He looks nothing like him. The only thing he's got in common is he's a bloke. Right, I'm just going to catch up with some super chats and I'm going to refresh entropy because I've just seen blogs is on the firm. Where are we going? Hang on, I can close that window. Lumi's been a member for 37 months. It's probably longer though because it all went tits up at some point. Nice one, Lumi. Much appreciated. Never taken for granted. Manny Moo's here again. Yeah, we'll get him in again. Little Bullet drops another lady. If anyone wants to know how Dangerfield learnt about watch this video. The humiliating making of a modern man. It will crack you up. Bullet, is that the one where is that the French exchange one? If you can confirm that, yeah, shocking old story. Or if it isn't that one, tell me what it is. But I'm very impressed with someone making a donation to advertise one of my videos. That's like maybe a strip of marketing, which is beautiful. No, nothing from Bill. Nice to see you though, Bill. That's not a Jared's been on the firm for 39 big ones. Abstract Steve, is that what kids do? Just make a noise all the time?
Yeah, well, he does. He never shuts up.
The same. Barkley and Bill had a little bit of the noise about them, but you know,
I tend to not hear it. You know, unless it's high pitched or screaming or something. You just yes.
Is that? I mean, stupid question, really, but I assume that's your child.
No.
Okay.
No, he's not.
Just found him.
No, he lives 3 doors away, but he lives here.
Okay.
He likes playing video games and.
That's all right. JP's been on the firm. You've been on the firm longer than that, John Palmer. You've been down the Blue Oyster Club for longer than that. King Athelstan's in the private chat says evening troops and Barclays linked me to the Adventures of Tricky.
Wait until his mum finds out that Dangerfield's been grooming him from his Cambodian base. In trouble,
talking about Captain Kirk. Andy, what have you got to say, or did you just want to come on and look really cool? Yeah, you're like the English version of Alan Taylor.
Who's he?
Well, the American version of Andy McNair. Has that cleared that up for you? Boy, little boy, when you go round Steve's house, when you go round his house, is he interesting? Is he a funny bloke, or is he a bit stupid?
He's a funny bloke.
Oh, he had all the options. Do you like going round there? Is it a bit more fun than your house?
Definitely.
Oh,
Lives round here.
oh, no, that's lovely. I used to have people in my street. I'd go and just knock on their door, and they'd make me like an orange juice, and I'd get as much food and free things out of them as possible. Now, Manny Moo, I feel like you went up, you changed. Andy's gone. He might come back in a minute. Oh, Athelstan's on the firm. Hello, King.
Good evening. How you doing?
Hello. Yeah, all right.
Long time no speak, dude. Yeah.
It has been. I'm just going to have a little word with John because I haven't spoken to him yet, and then I'll move on to you, and then we'll break into.
Yeah, sure, dude. Yeah. No worries, man.
John, you're not looking as happy as you have been, or are you just holding it together? Are you just sort of styling it? What was that?
This is it. This is how I look. I don't know.
You've had a haircut, haven't you?
I've got stuff that
It's a very. It's quite a bad audio connection, John. I don't know why. It's just a little bit sort of tinny and hard to make out. I'm only saying that because it'd be nicer to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
That's much better. Yeah, much better.
Good. Yeah, no, I thought I'd throw my hat in the forehead contest that's going on.
Yeah. I think Steve's obviously winning by a clear mile. It's Steve, Packer, me, you. Or you're beating me, or me and you about the same, aren't we? Lean forward a little bit. You've got a straight line though. I've got like
with those feet.
Good looking lad though, Manny Moo. You'll always have that. They can't take that away from you, can they?
What?
You're a good looking lad.
No, yes, thank you. No, I'm 62. I was 62 yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday, my people. Happy birthday to Manny Moo. HB in the chat.
Happy birthday, dude.
That's incredible.
Many happy returns.
62. Right, you don't look a day older than 62.
61, yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's it like being 62, John? Seriously.
Well, I've never expected to live a long life. It's weird. I'm a bit weird.
You are a little bit, but I like that about you. So because you didn't expect to live a long life, are you just happy because it's just you're there and you know?
Life is. I've just seen life as an experience, good or bad. I'm not bothered either way. But what's happened has happened, and I'll die one day.
Do you think when you die, it's going to go all black and then it's going to go all white, and the overlords are going to come down and say, "John Manny Moo, you scored 9,023 points out of a possible 100,000. You have failed the simulation. You are now an epsilon."
Could be a simulation, absolutely. We could.
That's what I feel like that. So you reckon there might be some of that action?
Absolutely, it could be a simulation. Yeah, I mean that's mathematically possible, and it makes as much sense as anything else.
Do you think it being a simulation makes more sense than a creator?
I think there is a creator. I think there is God, whatever that means, whatever name you want to give it. I mean,
Do you think that somewhere along the line, a consciousness? Who done that? Who just done a really bored sort of?
I was clearing my throat. I was coughing. So I'm ill at the moment. I wasn't trying to detract from what he was saying. I was just like, I'm ill at the minute, dude. So.
That's amazing. He went, oh, not this one again. Sorry, Manny Moo, I got a bit distracted. Sorry, John. I mean,
we're all part of we spoke to the
Nah, the
universal
microphone's
bonus
gone
model.
off all again, John. You need to. Why is that happening, John? I feel like are you a radio ham? I can hear Radio Luxembourg in the background.
Is it better?
Yeah.
All right. No, I think we're all just bubbles of a latent consciousness, which is the universe. I think somehow something happened and thought, fuck me, I exist. What's going on? And it created time and space.
You had a good life, John.
And I think that'll be an amiga point.
John, let me ask you this. Do you feel like you could have had a better life if you'd made different decisions, or if other people around you had made better decisions, or neither?
What do you mean better? What make
That's
more
interesting.
money? Make more money, or shag more women, or
No. Okay, so do you not think that there is a better or worse experience of life? Is that your position?
yeah, there's an experience. This is an experience.
But it wasn't too long ago when you said you were depressed. You just, but you're saying,
That's fine. That works.
That's just another part of the experience.
Yeah.
Packer, what do you make of that?
I can't tell you about his life.
I didn't ask you about his life.
What,
Do you think that life can be qualitatively different?
Well,
Can some people have lives that you'd suggest or that you could objectively say are better than someone else's?
Who's playing on football?
Well, that's tricky, isn't it? I mean, you could have all the money in the world and be miserable. You don't know, do you? I can't. This always freaks me out because you can't know what someone else's life was like, even if they tell you. When you sit there and tell us all about growing up in Dartford, but unless I was you, I wouldn't know what that was like.
It's interesting. I wonder. I mean, you could say that no one is happier or sadder than anyone else.
I'm sure they are.
Hang on. As soon as you say you're sure that they are,
I'm sure some people must be happier than others, but
maybe not though. Maybe not though. Yeah,
Hey?
but maybe not though. I think that's what John's saying.
Yeah.
You can present that you're enjoying yourself, or you've had a great life, or you're having a great life, or whatever. But we might all not have the necessary chemicals or whatever to be out of a very small window. You know, that's quite an interesting thought. I like that. Because at the end of the day, you really are just going to bed again, and then you're waking up again. And it doesn't matter whether you go paragliding in the Pyrenees and getting pissed up with supermodels, or sitting on your armchair smoking dope. It does. You might be in a very small window of experience, which we call life. Can't hear you, John.
I'm happy to agree that people on a normal social scale have better lifestyle.
Can't hear you.
This is going weird.
Can I get involved in the chat, mate?
Yeah, you can. John, sort your microphone.
Awesome.
I'm going to mute you and we'll have a chat with.
Thing is, life is what you make it. If you've got aspirations, follow your dreams, set goals, you will make it. But if if you kind of content with just plodding along day by day, well, that's your destiny. If you think I'm going to do this, do that, and then aspirations. I started off as a university student, pushing trolleys around as the car park. I did a degree in IT. I've got a career, and I've gone from strength to strength over the years, and I'm totally at the apex. But life is what you make it.
But are you enjoying life more now than you did then?
Money will not buy you happiness.
No,
I can tell you that 100%. You can have all the material possessions. You can own a house. You can have a car. Blah blah blah. You know what? Material things do not make happiness.
No,
I think it's about kind of fulfillment in life. you know.
But I've never thought about it like that before. I've never thought, and I'm only posing it as a hypothesis that as men, and I mean humans, but as men, there may be actually quite a slim window that I mean, a bloke sleeping. A lot of the blokes I knew sleeping on the streets of Soho, you people walk past them, they're like, oh, look at that poor bastard. But I'd sit down with them, and they didn't want to live in a house. They didn't want all the admin. They didn't want all the hassle. They didn't want to pay bills. They didn't want to pay tax.
Yeah, 100%. I can completely understand that point of view. My cousin actually runs like a charity based in Manchester that does engage with people that are homeless, and they do not want the help. They're kind of happy to coast along and live on the street, you know, living in, you know, hostels or this, that, whatever. And you know that's the kind of like path they want to choose, and ultimately
There was a big sort of cleaning up process. I think it was before some kind of sporting event in England, and they suddenly miraculously found loads of money to put people, all the homeless, in.
With the whole lockdown and COVID, they did actually home all of the homeless. They wanted to get all the homeless off the street into hotels. They put them into hotels. As soon as lockdown and COVID finished, it was like, right, back on the street they go. So they can't solve that problem, but it's just like fucking, you know.
But they don't. Most of the ones I spent time with, they didn't want that life. You know, they just said it's just not for them.
True.
Who's just come back in? John, that's got to be John. Oh, no, there he is. Hello, John. Have you sorted your audio out?
No.
Look at that old boy. Look, I ain't got a fucking clue.
But yeah, it's been a crazy few years. I remember like coming to your channel like 4 years ago, Chris. You know, mate, fucking so much has changed since then. I was going through dark times and obviously lockdown and so much shit, mate. It's fire. It's just roller coaster shit.
And so, are you now working in the field you studied at university?
Yeah. I'm back in the game now. Yeah. Things are going well. You're back in the saddle. But mate, I went down deep. I went to fucking jail, man. You know what I mean?
You ended up in
got
prison.
fucking dark. Yeah, I went to jail, dude. Yeah.
Do you want to explain vaguely why, or do you not want to go? You don't have to.
I won't go. I think with lockdown, substance abuse, things, this, that, whatever.
Okay.
And I crossed the line in the law, and I got raided by armed police. 5 police officers, submachine guns at the door. Come out, hands up, like what the fuck, man? It's like crazy shit.
At least they knocked on your door. I saw mine fly down the fucking corridor.
Well, obviously, the crack diaries, you know, obviously I know your anecdotes and those stories, and I can relate to that kind of shit, man. But yeah, fuck me.
Terrifying.
You know, I went from the absolute peak, you know, the apex, to the bottom back up, you know, and it's you know, it's like a 2-3 year window. But yeah, turned it around. But
Athel Stan, I don't want you to say yes or no, but I'm going to have a pop at what happened, right? But don't say yes or no.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Chris. We'll talk privately. I mean, obviously, we've been in contact over the years, but we'll talk obviously offline at some point.
All right, but I'm going to suggest something, and at the end, no, right?
Yeah.
But I reckon you got into your chosen employment. You were very good at it. You moved up. You were getting all this, and then you got into the powder. And once you got into the powder, you were like, I'm the life of the party. You want some? Yeah. Then people were like, "Oh, can you get that quality powder?" And you're like, "Well, I'm not a dealer." No, I know that, but can you get us some at the weekend? Then a couple of other people started asking. Then a couple of other people, and then you thought, "Well, hang on, I've got a few people all buying it. I'm not paying for my own now. Yeah, this is lovely." 3 weeks later, door goes through. No, it wasn't that. Okay?
No comment.
Okay. Can I ask you? So you're working in computing. Are you freelance? Are you with a company? Are you?
Yeah, freelance. Yeah, I'm a programmer. Yeah, freelance programmer.
Wow.
So yeah, you know, darknet, all that kind of shit. You know the score, man. You know.
So
I mean, I've heard your anecdotes about ordering, you know, Valium ampules and shit. So yeah.
Out of stock. It was out of stock Polish hospital stuff, but the beauty of it was so rare. You know, you could not get
Yeah.
Valium, and you'd only get like 5 every few months off him. But when the bird at the pharmacy said I've got 200, and I went, yeah, I'll have them all. That's
Mate, honestly, kid in a sweet shop. I mean, when I'm like 10 years ago, like 2014, 15, I went to Silk Road. It's like kid in a candy store. It's like, yeah, okay, acid. Yeah, okay, I got some acid, got some pills. Okay, a bit of coke. Yeah, get some shards. You know,
it was mad.
Crazy shit, man.
And roughly, how old are you, Athelstan? Roughly.
I'm gonna say I am in my late 30s, early 40s.
Okay, so you can probably just about remember. I mean, I can remember if you got caught with a 1/16 of an ounce of soap bar, you'd end up in court. They'd keep you over.
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting in Soho ordering crack on the fucking my post.
And then postman Pat comes, posts it through your door, and it's like, awesome, yeah, the delivery's here.
I ended up knowing
crazy shit.
Where my postman would be, because with the crack and that, it didn't really matter, but with the brown, it did. So I would have my head out the window, and I was just waiting for him to come off Brewer Street and onto Lexington Street. But then that weren't soon enough. So then I'd go all the way to the bottom of Lexington Street, and I'd look all the way up Brewer Street, and soon that weren't enough. So I'd go all the way down Brewer Street and wait at Piccadilly. And then in the end, they'd rock up at Piccadilly, and I'd be like, hello, mate, you got anything for me? And he knew what
the parallels are so funny because similar story.
Hang on, King. He'd go, I've got 2 for you. I've got one from Amsterdam. I go, here's a tenner tip, because I knew what that is. I'll take a tenner.
The similar story. I've got back to my house. It's like I've got a red card. You know, like we've missed you delivery. It's like I know he's round. It's like, yeah, I'll go and find him on his route. It's like, yeah,
done that.
7 grams of flake for me. It's like, yeah, awesome, right? That's good, yeah.
Because if you don't find him on his route, that you've got to wait till the following day.
Oh, crazy times, man, crazy times. But I mean, this is kind of one of the reasons that I obfuscate my face. Obviously, I've not put my face on.
No, understandable. But can I ask you something? Would because we use developers, we use dev. Are you a dev?
Yeah, I'm dev. Yeah.
So if I needed, for instance, some kind of, if there was an issue with Shopify,
of course, man.
Because we always use them and they're always shit. So excuse my language, and they don't want the work, and I don't know why, but I might have to hit you up about that.
100%, mate. Yeah, I mean, I've been a software engineer for like fucking 18 years now, man. So yeah, 100%.
Okay, that's cool. And you're au fait with Shopify, or you don't need to be because it's just code?
It's one of them, mate. It's just a bit of like digging under the hood, and you figure it out. I've been working with like obviously web development for 18 years, so yeah, I can use like various platforms, languages, and shit.
Do you remember?
You've got my email anyway, dude.
Yep,
from way back when.
Do you remember Dreamweaver?
Oh, mate, fucking hell, that's old school, that shit, man. Yeah, Dreamweaver, yeah.
My first website on that.
Yeah.
Used to take about 5 hours to put a new product in the shop. But here's the irony. So for people who don't know, Dreamweaver was a bit of software where you could have a website and you didn't need to know much about programming. You just upload a picture, type in your text you wanted, bosh, and then after messing around for a bit. But it did take me literally 4 or 5 hours because I knew nothing. I'd be on the phone to my mate who had a similar job to King Athelstan there. And they'd be like, what do you want to know? Can't it wait till tomorrow? And I'll be like, no, it cannot. It needs doing now. But then we end up moving to a better platform, then a better platform. Then we end up with Shopify. Then we've got Bright Pearl. Then we use Google Docs. Then we've got Shipmonk and Ship Theory. Now, the irony is, now if I want to put a new product in the shop, I've got to fill in the Google Doc, which is dimensions, weight, stock keeping unit, SKU, stock keeping unit, name of the product, the USA price, the UK price, the weight for the shipping, the USA sale price, the UK sale price. So quite a big document to fill in for one product. Then I've got to put it in the shop in the UK Shopify. Then I've got to put it in the USA shop, which is different copywriting, product sales copy, because Americans and British people respond to different calls to action, different value propositions. Then it's all got to go into Bright Pearl, because that's sort of like the conduit between, well, that's like the king of everything. That goes to our accounts. And so after 2006, I set the shop up. 2024 now, to put one product in the shop now takes about 3.5 hours. So I've almost gone full circle. There was a sweet spot in the middle where it was like a 10-minute job. I was like, hey, at last, this is what it should be.
Not to obviously give too much away. Is this your lock picking business?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not like I'm stalking you. I have had a look at your kind of like your
there's loads
your online. Yeah.
I do the Lock Picking Legend channel. Hello, Mad Lizzie. Nice to see you. There you go. Well, I'm afraid I've got to go because it's getting late now. It's gone midnight, and I've got to. Sorry about that, Andy. It was lovely to see you for a few seconds. You look like the Chad meme. You know, the sort of side on, didn't he, though, Packer? I'm coming to you, Captain Kirk, in a minute. Athelstan, lovely to have you on. And I know there's some super chats. I'll do those at the end. Athelstan, any last words you want to leave us with?
It's been a pleasure. Good to catch up with everybody. And Hoyt. Good night, Scrubberoos.
Yeah, it's been a quick one, mate. But come on another one when we've got a bit.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's long overdue, mate. It's been a while. Yeah. So yeah.
Lovely to see you, though, man.
I'll be back.
All right, take care, Athelstan.
Yeah, cheers.
Well, look at that. That's a success story. Then he just went. He got his job, got to uni, and now he's doing what he wants. I like it. Shame that we lost Andy. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean, Packer, about that the Chad thing for the memes with that beard? He looked like him, didn't he? Is that Manny Moo like some sort of ghost? Like an apparition?
Turn the telly off. I only got the candle on now.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Oh, we're just wrapping up now, though, John.
Yeah.
But John, I do like what you said tonight. You've given me something to really given me something to think about.
Just an experience.
What do you say?
It's just an experience.
Yeah, but what I mean is the sort of the potential differences of that experience, whether it's as wide as I perhaps once thought, or whether as humans our sense of contentment and peace and sadness and depression or whatever might actually be quite slim. It doesn't matter how good you are doing or how bad you're doing. We could actually be in quite a small sort of window.
If I'm hungry and I make fish fingers, chips and beans, it tastes as good as any fucking foie gras or the most expensive meal in the world. I've experienced the best of everything, just like everyone has, and the worst.
You know what? Me and Gail, again, the bird from the Crack Diaries, we hadn't eaten for days. And I went round, they come in the chat, Mark and Windy Willow. Friends I've known for like 30, 40 years. I've known Mark for 40 years. And we went round there and we said, listen, have you got anything to eat? And they were skint. They had 3 kids. 3 kids skint in a 2 up, 2 down. And I said, have you got anything to eat. Oh, anything, please, like a biscuit or something. And she come out, and they give us a cabbage, a sort of a big potato, and some gravy granules. And me and Gail got home. We chopped up the cabbage, chopped up the potato, and boiled it with the cabbage. And when that was done, made the gravy and poured it on it. And to this day, Gail and me will tell you that is the best meal we ever had. It was absolutely amazing. Simply because, but the problem is then, John, like you said, we were in a pretty bad state for that to be the best meal. Do you know what I mean? So there's a relativity there that maybe breaks the system.
No,
depends how fucking hungry you were.
that tasted as good as any meal any king ever had.
Remember, now
At that moment, at that time, that experience.
off the shelf, and then you said to get back on the shelf.
Yeah.
Kirk, we're coming to you in a minute. Keep your trap shut. Manny Moo, I'm going to let you go. Look after yourself, mate. Yeah, it's only because I've got to go now. I've got to do some writing. Ta-da, John.
Ta-da, buddy.
Shame about John's audio because he could have had a lot more time. Well, go on. Tell the boy his moment has come. He's taking your space, though, Steve.
Now, shut up now.
Do you not? There you go. Come on.
Don't even know what to say, to be honest.
What do you like? What do you like doing?
Nothing.
Video games?
Yeah.
He's got his own YouTube channel.
Hang on. Why have you got shy now? Because for the last 5 minutes you've been making all sorts of noise, but now you're shy.
I'm not shy. It's just because I'm literally talking now.
So what? Have you got a girlfriend?
Until I'm 35, yeah. No.
What did he say? You got
No.
35? No.
35 or something, I don't know.
Do you like girls at school?
No, I don't.
None of them.
None of them.
What about, there were one you mentioned.
When?
I don't know, a few weeks back or something.
Oh, yeah.
Do they like you?
No.
No.
Oh, that...
That's why then.
Yeah. How are you, Steve?
Marvellous. I've been
That
here on Manny Mill, what you were talking about. I'm 63.
Good Lord,
So,
you're looking well for it.
what you're going on about life and all that, I've had a great life. Even through the crap times and that, I always think, oh, this is an experience. It's crap, but it's an experience. And then that passes and then a good time happens. So, just carry on.
I think culture has kind of sold us this idea that there's like a panacea where life's just great because you've got it right. But that ain't ever happening. That's just not how it works, is it? You have your ups, you have your downs. And
I never bought into you must get a good education, which I did, but you must get one, get a job, get married, have kids. And I went, I'm not playing that game. I think a bit like Train Spotting, what he goes on about, at the beginning.
Yeah.
Get a job, get a 3-piece suite and all. And without the heroin, I sort of, that was my philosophy.
It was mine with the heroin. Yeah. But, it's weird, isn't it? I mean, my missus definitely wanted kids, but now she's got this gym job. She said to me she doesn't want them for a few more years. And I'm like, I ain't got a few more years in me, love.
That's the one thing I'd change in life. I'd go back and have kids. I ain't got any kids.
Right.
And I'd have a couple of kids. That's the only thing I'd ever sort of regret. And even then I don't regret because I've not had them. And they don't all turn out perfect. So I might have had a right little slide hanging on me in my whole life like a millstone. So,
Well, at least you got a temporary millstone.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Have you got any last words for us, Mr. Abstract Steve?
No, like I've just said, the philosophy. Enjoy.
Is that the painting you were doing on the last stream behind you?
Yeah.
You sent me some photos, but it'll take me too long to dig those out. I'll do it next time.
And there's the other one. That's that Cy Twombly hero one.
Yeah, I can see where you're going with that. Yeah, it's great stuff.
Yeah, and that's the AIDS thing.
I remembered that artist. I put it on Twitter, and it was on my mind for days and days, and then I just come out of it. His name is Ewan Eglow.
I don't think I've come across him.
I suddenly come up with him, a lot of figurative stuff. And an art teacher said to me, as I was sort of investigating that artist, he said that painter has ruined many an art student's career. And I always remember thinking, you idiot, what stupid thing to say. I don't believe you can teach art anyway. I mean, who's he to say what's good and bad? You know,
I've never had a lesson. I've just done stuff and what I fancied. And like someone said, oh, okay, you can't use black. And I said, why can't I use black? You use black if I want to.
Yeah. Well, the line is that black doesn't exist in nature, but but it's we had modernism 100 years ago, so we're well past that. Yeah, here's one of those Ewan Eglow pictures, and you can sort of see the lines of draftsmanship in it. Maybe not so much in this one, actually. Hang on, won't take a second.
Mum's ready at my house.
Right, apparently the food's ready at his mother's house.
All right,
we'll be there in a minute.
What? So, Steve, do you go down and eat at his mother's house?
Well, of course I do. She cooks all traditional Turkish stuff. It's fantastic.
Oh, you've got it going on. What's that like? Tabbouleh and all that stuff? Hummus and pitters?
She does all sorts of what they're grown up, and their mothers taught them. It's always fabulous food.
Hang on. So what do you do? Just look after the kid? Is that what you do for the food?
No, he just comes around here all the time.
I'm trying to work out what your input. What do they get out of it?
Peace and quiet.
For hours at a time.
There you go.
Oh, you know that, right?
Yes, I know you go to school, but all the other time you're around here.
Yeah, I know
there
that.
You go.
I don't go to school.
You go and enjoy your Turkish food. See you later, Steve. See you later.
See you, everyone.
Hoita!
Hoita! Did that kid just say hoita?
He did, yeah.
Amazing. Packer, what do you make of tonight? There are some super chats. Bill, I've got your entropy. Bill says, it's not me. Hang on. Who starts? I don't want to disrespect the guest by derailing with revelations, hypotheses, or questions. He said that, and then the next one, it's not me. I read too much non-fiction. I'm struggling to be topical. I want to rant about all the rabbit holes I've been down. The tunnel people are not always involved, but it's strange. And another donation. Thank you, Bill. Another one. I don't want to that one. Sorry, it's just the two. I don't want to disrespect the guest by derailing with revelations, hypotheses, and questions. Bill, there's no straight line in these streams. There's no derailing something that's not on a rail. Everyone wants you to come in here. So one day we'll get you on here. Paco, it's time to summarise the stream, mate. We've had good numbers. We had 125 in one hit at one go. Hang on, let me do the last super chats that came in. Oh, actually, no, that was just the members. And then Bullet said the French playing cards. Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah, the one where I went to France. Yeah, the nudie cards and the flick knife. He's referring to, if anyone wants to know how I learnt about sex, watch my video. If you search Google for YouTube, just type in humiliating making of a modern man, Dangerfield. It is a very funny, a little bit unpleasant story. But yeah, good call, Bullet. It is one of my favourites. It used to go down well live. Much appreciated. There is still time, people, if you want to pay your financial gratitude for the 2.5 hour stream. Packer, what did you make of today's one? It was a bit... What did you make of it?
It's all right. What was wrong with it? it was nice to see Ian looking well, wasn't it? And
That's your takeaway, is it?
yeah, Manny could have smiled a bit at all. And
he was on that experience tip, wasn't he? That's all he wanted to say.
Bill was nice.
It's often what's not said, isn't it? So much about what's left out. Bill and Barkley were interesting. I want to treat, if they're going to come on here, any youngster, apart from someone Star Trek's age, obviously, because he's a kid, but I can't let people get away with things that I don't trust. To say you can't read and then say you can, and then say why you don't, and then say why you do. I can't just nod my head, because that's not a conversation. That's polite chat. I can't read. I read this. This is the best book. Oh. No. And so that's out of respect that I pull people up on things like that. Who else came in? There's a shame Andy didn't get some time, because he looked the nuts, didn't he? He looked like he would have. I mean, I don't know. He looked like the Mos Eisley can.
Wasn't there?
Pardon?
Something of the Jedi about him.
Yeah, most certainly. Do you like these?
What the fuck? Well, marshmallows. Well,
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, I don't.
Oh, you
don't?
don't?
Eat sugar now. No, don't eat none of that now. I'm going on some bloke's thing. I'm going to get interviewed end of the month.
Don't get on blokes things.
No Carb Life is called.
He's got a YouTube channel.
Yeah. It's called No Carb Life, and he interviews people that are on the diet.
Are marshmallows carbs?
It's sugar, Chris. It's just sugar.
Oh, yeah.
Bad for you.
Yeah, but I've done worse.
Yeah. I've just put about my 8th fag out, so.
So it's nicotine, Packer, and you're burning it. So you're still on the no carb diet.
Yeah.
And so you're going to go on this channel. Is it a big channel?
I don't know, really. I haven't really looked. I've not looked how many followers he's got.
Athelstan.
But it's not, I quite like it, because there's quite a few channels that are actual doctors, and they go into the science of it and all that all the time. And this is why and this is how. But this bloke, he just has people on and interviews them and says, what's your experience? How's it been for you? What have you got out of it?
So is he someone who promotes it because he believes in it, but he doesn't?
He's on it himself, yeah.
He's not arguing. He just gets people on to share their experience.
Yeah, how's it affected your life?
Because here's the weird thing: you've got this whole carnivore diet thing, and the World Economic Forum. It's all about not eating meat, isn't it?
Yeah,
they're going the other way.
Yeah.
Before we go, I just want to say a couple of things. Athelstan dropped a Lady Godiva in. Have a cold brewski on me, dude. Certainly will do. Much appreciated. Good to have you on. Shame it couldn't have been a little bit longer. But I am fading a bit, and I've got to do some work on my manuscript. So Blogs has dropped a 10 spot in. You might have to do an extra hour dealing with the things I feel positive about. John Lindsay, linguistic discipline. GPT is a dangerous Marxist indoctrination. Challenge. Get it to exist. Get it to admit native Brits exists. They are subject to genocides. Elon's view on trans kids. I bully it to tell the truth and crash. Yeah, it does. It does crash when you try and tell it the thing. It told me that you cannot compare anything to a certain historical event. And I said, yeah, but communism has got an estimated 300,000 deaths in its wake. And it just kept saying you cannot compare anything to a certain other historical event.
So it denies the existence of native Brits, did he say?
Well, a bit according to Bill, but ChatGPT is woke as fuck. You wouldn't believe it. I ask it something like, because I'm writing my novel and I need some numbers, and I'll say something like, how much does it cost to produce 2 kilos of fentanyl? And it starts getting all shitty with me. Like,
that's controversial stuff that might get it in trouble, but native Brits, that's just up is down shit, isn't it?
No, it's well known that ChatGPT is really woke. But the thing is, we live in a free market, and there'll be AI with the power of ChatGPT in a couple of years that haven't got a woke overlord, moderating it, and everyone will go that day. Thank you, Bill, for the donations. You'll have to come on here one day, though, mate.
He will.
Yeah, he certainly will have to. Andy Mack, got a bail. Thanks for having me on. Hoyt Backer. There you go. Thanks, man. It's a shame it didn't work out. Shame you didn't get to say much. You looked very interesting character. So have you been looking into Sam Malia's charge?
I've heard a bit about it, and he's basically been done for putting up stickers that tell the truth. He ain't said anything controversial or lied.
Right, so I would advise everyone to go and watch Mark Collette's. It's on Mark's channel, on his Odyssey channel. You can't miss it because it's called something like Sam Malia's court case or words to that effect. You can't miss it. It is easily identified. I can't remember off the top of my head. Actually, bollocks, I'll get you the link now, make things easy for you, because it's definitely worth watching. I'll tell you why in a minute. Well, apart from the obvious reasons. Give us a second. I can give you the link. There's me saying I can give you the link.
Well, it's dark times, isn't it? Because they can just decide you've broken the law.
Well, it gets worse than that. It gets worse than that.
And for those people that think this is good and it's great that he's been done because he's a, right-wing thug or whatever, enjoy it now because one day this is coming for you.
Yeah, that's the bit that they absolutely miss. Let me just get this because I'll get the actual. Oh, here we go. Sam Malia, the trial explained. Right, I'll put the link in the chat, people. So if you want to get it, it's the videos on Odyssey. There you go. There you go. So there's really interesting at the beginning. He says he talks about the British justice system because there's a lot of stuff he can't say because he doesn't want to potentially damage Sam's case. There's things that, and Laura's being like that on Telegram as well. But Mark talks about the British justice system. But he says about juries, he says the problem with the jury situation is, or the problem with going to court is, you got the likes of you and me, Packer, going in the dock. And you've got very high IQ people who spent 5 years at university training to be a barrister or a solicitor or whatever. Then they've done 5 years training in a company, being a second to a barrister or whatever, and then after that 10 years of becoming super good at their job, they're going to say to the likes of you and me, so what did you say to that person? And you're just, we're just blokes. So they're professionals in getting you to stitch yourself up. They're professionals, they're experts in turning everything you say and pressing your button so you end up going, fuck off, this is all bullshit. All that sort of stuff. And, I know from a mate who used to be a lawyer, he said it's so easy to get people to get themselves in trouble. He says, if the actual evidence isn't working in your favour, You just get the witnesses to screw it for themselves because it's easy to wind them up. It's easy to wind most people up. And he said that the thing is, most witnesses think that they're going to be cleverer than the barrister or whatever, the lawyer. He said that's a common theme, especially among men, he said. And they're like, I'll be all right. I won't take any of his shit. But suddenly, when all that ritualizing goes on, will the jury enter, please? And then all the cameras start going. Then you're like,
yeah, it's intimidating, isn't it?
Then all the swearing the oath and all that, and then the judge starts reading things out, and then suddenly the lawyer, your lawyer tells you that they're going to ask you about so and so, and the other bloke says, "Do you remember when you were 15?" And you're like, "What?" And then it's just some mad thing, and they bring out a witness, some bird you haven't seen for 20 years, who said, "Oh, he used to do this." You're like, "What? Now I'm on trial for fucking abuse. What?" So Mark doesn't say any of that, but what he says is because that system is inherently at fault, you've got professionals attacking individuals. He said, so what they've done, they put protections in place. And this is what Mark he explains it really well. He says, so it used to be you needed to have the whole jury say guilty. It used to need to be like 13 people, I think it is. What's the film? The great movie, 12 Angry Men or something. It used to be, unless if one person says, no, he's innocent, that case falls apart. The whole jury had to agree. But Mark says, if I remember rightly, he said it went down to 1, then it went down to 2. He said apparently now it can be, I don't want to misquote him, someone in the chat might know, but apparently now even if 3 people say they're innocent, if the other 10 say guilty, you're guilty. And that protection's gone. It got slowly whittled down. Athelstan's back. Maybe he knows a bit about this. Hello? Oh, maybe an accident. That protection's gone. And then there's another protection that he talks about that has gone. Oh, yeah. Double jeopardy. So if it's a state, like the Sam Malia cases, if it's a state case against you, if for whatever reasons the jury say, he's trying again, the stream's finished. Hello? Fucking hell. That's your last attempt. Right. If for whatever reason the state doesn't beat you and get a guilty, they can just get you in again and again and again until they get the right collection of 13 people to lock you up. And there was one more protection. I don't know if anyone in the chat knows it, but there was another protection that's gone. The right for them to not know previous crimes. So, like, if in your early 20s you've done a couple of domestic burglaries, done 3 years in Nick, but then built a business, had a family, you're now 50. The jury aren't privy to that information because it's got nothing to do with proving this case. But that's gone. They can literally just walk in now and say things. Oh, Sam Malia on Twitter in 2005 said blah, blah, blah. So that's
mental.
That's
mental because the police will just nick someone. They'll, for instance, a burglary will happen and they'll go, right, well, so-and-so, he's a burglar.
There you go.
Him. There you go. He winds up in court. Jury walks in. Yeah, he's done 20 burglaries. Oh, well, he's done it then. Probably him.
Yeah. And I mean, the British justice system, because of those protections, was one of the best in the world. And they've just slowly been taken away. And now it's largely an injustice system. Now, I think it's terrifying. I'll put the link in the chat again. I think it's absolutely terrifying. If I don't want to. I'm no expert on this case. I haven't been following it, but I do like Mark's videos. I watched that one yesterday, and it was really interesting to hear all about that, the justice system stuff at the beginning. He wasn't. The crime isn't putting stickers up. The crime is inciting racial hatred. And that's why this is bizarre, because how do you prove Sam's intentions? You know, the stickers,
vague, isn't it?
like, it's okay to be
Deliberately
white.
vague.
Yeah. And, you know, oh, and another one of the protections were you could take people out of the jury, up to 6 of them. You'd get their back catalogue, you know, and like, for instance, Mark says that Sam has called out the Labour Party in public, for instance. And if there were 4 sort of Labour Party members on the jury, regardless of the evidence, you're guilty. So you could get rid of them. Now you can't. You have to take whoever you get. So all those, that was the interesting bit for me. All those protections have been taken away. So they're looking to prove someone's intention. The stickers, it's okay to be white, we'll be a minority in our homeland by 2066. You know, it was 100-handers.
Isn't it? That's all it is. It's just thought police. You're not allowed to think that. Shut up.
Yeah. And you know, I tell you what, I know a fair amount about the makeup of British prisons at the moment, and I wouldn't want to go to a prison anywhere. But as a white nationalist in a British prison at the moment, fuck that.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Tommy Robinson. I mean, fair enough. He's a bigger name, but he done solitary, and he couldn't eat anything because all the kitchens are staffed by people who want him dead. He could only eat food that was brought in from the outside. But even then, it's going through people's hands. You'd be fucking terrified every meal you ate. And props to Tommy Robinson. Actually, he's one of the only big names who's actually spoken out about this trial on social media. No one else has. Anne-Marie Waters hasn't got much to say about it. But it's terrifying, you know, absolutely terrifying.
Righto. Well, on that jolly note.
Hang on, let's find a bit of music. Well, it has been an interesting stream. It's hard getting back into the groove. I'm sorry I haven't been about people, but I am just working my fucking ass off. Bearing's made a video. My girlfriend is trans, but I'm not gay.
I've seen that.
Worth a watch?
Yeah, it's mildly funny.
He's got a general level of humour, hasn't he, old Bezza?
Sugar Tits is on it with him. She's very funny and all.
Very sexy woman. Fucking, have you seen her?
Nah.
Asian.
Hey?
Asian.
Oh, well, right up your strata then.
She's such a pretty girl. Oh, hang on, he's ruined it already with that little lick. Right, Packer, thanks for coming on, mate.
Thanks for having me.
Did you enjoy it?
Always.
Yeah, it's a real pleasure to have you on. Makes it easier for me, to be honest with you. It's too much.
I don't know why or how.
Yeah, well, that's why probably. That's probably what makes it easier. Look after yourself, mate. Talk to you soon. Thanks for coming on. See you. Ta-da. Ta-da. I'd like to thank all the guests that come on, because that's not easy, you know, coming in. Why Packer still there? Kick him out of the studio. Got King Athelstan still there. I don't think he's even watching it. I think he keeps turning on in his pocket. I want to thank all the guests that came on. I want to thank Packer for co-hosting, because for some reason it does just make it easier for me. Make the call-ins makes it more relaxing. Got someone to bounce things off when I start getting a little bit frisky, a little bit skittish. I I want to thank everyone who donated. I mean, I'm always grifting, but at the moment, that is really making a difference. It's just really taking the edge off the realities of life. So thanks to everyone who donated. Thanks to Steve Cray for looking after the place. I haven't seen Rags here unless he's... hello, Special K on Acid. I haven't seen Rags here in a while unless he's lurking. I do talk to him off of the tube. So, Glass, hello Emma. Hello Emma. Emma bought a brand new bag. Emma's got a brand new bag. Ah, very cool, Emma. Very cool. And most of all, thanks to all of you lot, because without you lot, there's no stream. Here's a bit of music. It's Bally G with Cold Hard Steel, and I dedicate this to King Corona. Bless you, sir. What a shame. Rest wherever you are. A tricky one to negotiate that. How do you say it? Look after yourselves, people. And I'll try and get another stream done within less than a week. How about that? Ta-ta! Boom. It'll start now. Cheers, Athelstan.
Tell your daddy you're fighting good. Feel the glory he said you would. Tell your mama you're coming home. Over all of that deafening drone. But you'll realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Feel the dawn of your final day. Feel the fear and go anyway. Get a ride in that big black plane. Kill your conscience along your brain. But you'll realize you.
Sorry, people. Sorry, Jared. He died, mate. He died. So apologies. I'm also seeing a load of names in the chat that I didn't get to say hello to. So apologies, but I am seeing you now, and it's good to see some OGs. And sorry to drop that one on you, Jared, but there's no other way of telling you, really. Okay, back to the music. Ta-ta.
So when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Cause the wheels already been rolled. When you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Do whatever they tell you to. Tell yourself it ain't really you. But when the slaughtering has begun, you'll be murdering someone's son. And you'll realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Cause the wheels already been rolled when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Oh Lord, yes, you'll realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Oh Lord, cause the wheels already been rolled when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Oh Lord.
Well, there you go, people. Loads of names there. Arius, Cro-Magnon, Linda Hunter, of course. There was loads of people that I haven't said hello to. Apologies, Mark W. There, Hoax was in there. Special K on Acid. Loads of people. Sorry if I missed you. Look after yourselves. There will be another one this week. I will make it happen. Look how big my biceps are getting. Look. Too much time lifting weights as well. Too old for that shit. Look after yourselves, people. Hoit!